Warning, Dragon Country contestant Su Chun has perished. Remaining contestants, 78 out of 100. Current global ranking of Dragon Country, 154th. Dragon Country contestants must scramble to gather supplies to avoid national annihilation. Crimson text burst violently across Su Chi's field of vision. In just 3 days, over 20 of our nation's contestants have lost their lives. Su Chi huddled inside a cave, his lips pale and his body trembling nonstop. This was the National Fortune Wilderness survival battleground, and Su Chi had been trapped here for 3 full days. 3 days prior, a grand, emotionless voice had boomed inside the minds of every human on Earth. Each nation would randomly select 100 citizens as contestants, who would then be scattered to random corners of this wild continent. Any supplies contestants collected could trigger a 10,000-fold return, materializing within the borders of their home nations. For Blue Star, a planet crippled by resource shortages and energy depletion, this was its last ray of hope. Yet the penalties for failure were equally brutal. Once a contestant died on the wild continent, they would perish permanently, never to return to the real world. If all 100 contestants from a nation were killed, the nation itself would be erased entirely. Thus, every country's fate was inextricably bound to its 100 competitors. Gurgle, Su Chi's stomach rumbled sharply, cramping as if a knife twisted his intestines. He had barely eaten a bite in 3 days, his body teetering on total collapse. He unzipped his backpack, revealing only a handful of dry bark shards inside. Trembling, he reached out, picked up a piece of bark, and stuffed it into his mouth. He chewed a few times, a bitter, sour taste flooding his tongue, and nausea welled up instantly. Gurgle, Su Chi gritted his teeth, the veins on his neck bulging as he forced the bark down his throat. Panting, he slumped against the cave wall and exhaled heavily. Only 2 pieces of bark left. I have to hold on as long as I can. This wild continent remained completely undeveloped, a vast domain ruled by feral wildlife. Tigers, leopards, hyenas, and other predators roamed everywhere. Su Chi had only survived this long by sheer luck, stumbling upon this cave to hide in. Still, this shelter was merely a temporary reprieve. Without food and clean water, death would find him sooner or later. He grabbed an empty mineral water bottle at his side, tilted his head back, and squeezed the plastic flat to drain its last drops of liquid. The tiny sip barely moistened his parched throat, a meaningless drop in the bucket against his severe dehydration. Su Chi's face twisted with despair. The newbie gift pack only gave 1 bottle of water, 2 flint stones, and a machete, such a stingy reward. A few bullet comments drifted across the live stream screen. This guy's in terrible shape. He won't last much longer like this. Why doesn't he head out to hunt for food and water? Is he just waiting to die here? The woods outside are swarming with predators. Going out would be suicide. Inside the cave, Su Chi's eyelids grew heavy. Cold, starved, and parched, his physical state had deteriorated drastically. No. He pinched his arm hard to jolt himself awake. I can't fall asleep. I might never wake up again. Bang. A dull crash echoed from the cave entrance, chasing away much of Su Chi's drowsiness. What was that noise? Did the cave's original inhabitant come back? He rubbed his face to clear his foggy mind, gripped his machete tight, and stared warily toward the cave mouth. When he first found this cave 3 days ago, he'd spotted piles of dry animal droppings in the corner. There was no doubt this den belonged to some wild beast. But the forest beyond held far greater danger. Predators could leap from the shadows at any moment. With no other options, Su Chi had taken refuge here, praying the cave's owner would not return. He hunched low, machete clutched in his right hand, and crept slowly toward the entrance. Viewers watching the live stream held their breath. That crash scared me half to death. I heard it too. It came straight from the cave mouth. Has some wild animal tracked Su Chi down? It's probably the cave's owner returning. Su Chi's in deep trouble now. Su Chi slowed his breathing, pressed his body flat against the stone wall to blend into the shadows, and scanned the outside. Nothing's out there. He leaned his upper body out of the cave entrance to survey the surroundings, yet no trace of any creature could be seen. A rustling sound came from the weeds at his feet. Su Chi swept the foliage aside with his machete, revealing a plump gray hair lying on its back, unconscious, twitching spasmodically every few seconds. So that crash was this rabbit? Su Chi blinked in surprise, and bent down to pick the hair up. He hefted it lightly. It weighed at least 3 or 4 pounds, more than enough to fill his empty stomach. This is perfect timing. Now I can survive a few more days. The live stream audience stared in stunned silence. How is this even possible? A rabbit just walked right up to him? He's basically waiting for prey to fall into his lap. Did he plan this all along? Wow, his luck is insane. He was moments away from starvation, and this rabbit just saved his life. Back inside the cave, Su Chi skinned and plucked the hair, skewering its body on a thick branch. He stacked dry twigs to build a small fire pit, gathered dry grass, and struck the flint stones together. Sparkles flew, thin tendrils of smoke curled upward, and tiny flames flickered to life. At the exact same moment, the mechanical notification of the National Fortune game resounded. Congratulations to Dragon Country contestant Su Chi for capturing one hare. 10,000-fold resource return activated. 10,000 hares have been deployed across Dragon Country's territory. Instantly, jubilation erupted all over Dragon Country. Great news. We've got hares. Hares breed incredibly fast. 10,000 can multiply tenfold within a year. Su Chi is amazing. No one expected this ordinary college student to get such a lucky break with a rabbit running straight into his hiding spot. Smoke swirled inside the cave as the fire crackled. Su Chi crouched beside the flames, gripping the branch holding the hare, anticipation written all over his face. If I'm going to die out here, at least I'll have a proper meal first. High heat forced golden fat from the rabbit meat, dripping onto the flames with a sizzling sound. A rich aroma of cooked meat and melted fat made Su Chi's hunger burn even fiercer. The hare's flesh turned an inviting golden hue over the fire, its skin crisp and lightly charred. Su Chi bit down eagerly. Tender meat paired with crispy roasted skin, a thick, savory flavor exploding across his tongue. His eyes flew wide open in delight. Delicious. Tastes far better than any rabbit I've ever had back home. He took several more huge bites, grease smearing his mouth, thoroughly enjoying the meal. Viewers watching the live stream felt their mouths water uncontrollably. I was just feeling sorry for him 10 minutes ago, and now he's making all of us hungry. I stepped away for 10 minutes. How did he end up roasting a whole rabbit? Please save a rabbit leg for me. I'll do anything to taste it. That roast looks incredible, golden, perfectly charred without burning. I can't stop drooling. Su Chi ate quickly, finishing nearly all the 3-pound hare in just 2 minutes, leaving only a single leg untouched. He let out a satisfied burp, rubbing his warm, full stomach. This meal had fully restored his fading strength. He set the leftover rabbit leg aside to save for dinner later. He collected every single bone onto a clean banana leaf. He planned to roast the bones over the fire tonight. They would taste far better than dry bark. Thud, thud, thud. A rumbling tremor echoed from outside, shaking the ground beneath Su Chi's feet as if some colossal primeval beast was drawing near. Su Chi jumped to his feet, white-knuckling his machete. The footsteps grew louder and closer, cold sweat soaking his back instantly. This noise was far louder than the rabbit's earlier crash. Whatever approached was a massive apex predator. Worst of all, the footsteps were heading straight for the cave. Panic rippled through the live stream audience. What's happening? The camera's shaking nonstop. It's not the camera. The ground itself is trembling. Some huge beast is coming this way. Could it be a tiger? The camera panned to follow Su Chi's line of sight. A second later, a round black and white furry head filled the frame, framed by iconic dark eye patches. A wild giant panda stood before the cave. Inside the cave, Su Chi's gaze locked rigidly onto the sudden visitor, his heart hammering wildly as adrenaline flooded his system. Though giant pandas look gentle and clumsy, their strength ranks among the top of all wild animals. One swat from their paw could shatter a human's bones in an instant. In the untamed wilderness, pandas stand unrivaled atop the food chain. Inside Dragon Country's official National Fortune live broadcast studio, renowned CCTV host Bing Bing sat alongside several of the nation's top wilderness survival experts, monitoring live feeds of all Dragon Country contestants. Professor Lee, a leading survival specialist, spotted the strange activity on Su Chi's stream and immediately ordered the director to pull up his footage. The screen displayed the round, fluffy black and white form of a wild giant panda for everyone to see. Professor Lee's palms grew damp with shock. A wild giant panda, our national treasure. Su Chi is the very first contestant from any nation to encounter one. Bing Bing stared at the fluffy creature with a touch of longing. In recent years, Blue Star's ecosystems have collapsed, countless species gone extinct. Even our national treasure pandas nearly vanished entirely. I never imagined we'd spot one on this wild continent. Professor Lee shook his head, his voice heavy with gravity. Don't let its cute appearance fool you. Out in the wild, this is no gentle national treasure. It is an apex bear predator. It's a bear, not a cat. Among all bear species, giant pandas possess exceptional brute strength, true top-tier hunters. Bing Bing covered her mouth in alarm. Then Su Chi is in mortal danger? Will the panda attack him? Professor Li's expression turned grim. He faces a 9 in 10 chance of death. If this cave belongs to the panda, finding a stranger occupying its den will enrage even the most docile-seeming beast. Tension hung thick in the wilderness outside the cave. Su Chi stood frozen inside, never taking his eyes off the panda, cold sweat dripping down his forehead as his grip on the machete tightened, muscles bulging in his arm. He had nowhere to run, only the cave wall at his back, and the giant panda blocking the exit. The panda sized up the unfamiliar two-legged human, twitching its nose as it sniffed the air. Its round, plump paws rested against its chest, dark eyes darting back and forth. Where's my rabbit? I had such a big rabbit to chase. I saw it run this way. How did it disappear? What even is this two-legged creature? Is it edible? Su Chi blinked in confusion. What was that voice? He spun around to scan the surrounding woods, only hearing wind rustling through leaves. No other living thing stood nearby besides the panda. A bold thought crossed his mind. This must be his hidden ability, his golden advantage. The voice had come straight from the panda. He could hear the inner thoughts of animals. The power was certainly fascinating, yet the panda was currently wondering if he made a good meal. Ahem, my flesh is tough and flavorless, far worse tasting than rabbit meat, Su Chi explained quickly. The panda stepped closer, sniffing Su Chi's body, and a look of disgust crossed its face. Ugh, this two-legged human reeks. I have no interest in eating it. Su Chi's face fell. He'd just been judged unappetizing by a giant panda. Still, this was a relief. At least the bear had no plans to hunt him. Su Chi nodded rapidly. Exactly. I haven't bathed in days. I smell terrible. I'm not worth eating at all. Two-legged human, why are you living in my cave? The panda's round eyes stared Su Chi up and down, as if confronting an intruder. I only stumbled here after arriving in this world. I had no other shelter, so I took temporary refuge, Su Chi rushed to explain. I never intended to steal your cave. Since you've returned, I'll leave right away. I won't disturb you any longer. Did you see the rabbit I was chasing? I was running after one, but it outpaced me and vanished. Su Chi froze, a horrifying realization dawning on him. The rabbit he'd roasted must have been the very prey this panda had been hunting. If the bear discovered he'd eaten its catch, he swallowed nervously, feigning total ignorance. A rabbit? What rabbit? I haven't seen any. Really? You didn't spot it either? The panda tilted its round head, confused. It turned to leave, ready to search another direction. Su Chi exhaled in relief, certain the bear would depart. But a split second later, the panda's head snapped back toward him. I smell rabbit meat. The scent is coming from inside this cave. This two-legged human lied to me. Cold sweat flooded Su Chi's skin. The panda's sense of smell was unexpectedly sharp. He spun around and fetched the leftover rabbit from the cave, stepping forward to stand before the panda. In his left hand, he held the golden roasted rabbit leg, and in his right the picked clean bones. Panda, look, was your rabbit this leg, or these bones? This was my rabbit. How did it turn into something like this? Su Chi shook his head fiercely, speaking with unwavering certainty. I hunted this rabbit myself. It's absolutely not the one you chased. But since I've stayed in your cave for several days, I'll give you this rabbit leg as compensation. The livestream audience watched Su Chi's risky maneuver in shock. So the rabbit that crashed at the cave entrance was the panda's prey all along? No wonder the hare knocked itself unconscious. It was fleeing the panda, and didn't watch where it ran. He's living in the panda's cave and ate its rabbit. I can already guess how this will end for Su Chi. He's trying to fool a giant panda, as if national treasure bears are simple-minded. As it turned out, the audience vastly overestimated the panda's intelligence. The moment Su Chi offered the meat, the bear's entire demeanor brightened with delight. It leaned its round head down to sniff the rabbit leg, its dark eyes lighting up instantly. What kind of rabbit leg is this? It smells incredible. This two-legged human is surprisingly kind, willing to share food with me. I'll let my lost rabbit go. I want to try this cooked leg. It took one bite, and the panda froze completely. Delicious rabbit meat. So tasty. Within seconds, it devoured the entire rabbit leg, crunching and swallowing even the bone. It then fixed Su Chi with wide, pleading eyes, letting out a soft whine. More, please. It's so good. Su Chi shrugged. There's nothing left, only that single leg. The panda's shoulders drooped in dejection, its nose twitching as it caught another scent, its eyes flaring with excitement. The next instant, its massive body charged forward like an out-of-control heavy truck, barreling straight towards Su Chi. Su Chi stared at the rapidly expanding black and white shape, his heart seizing with terror. Whoa! Back on the live stream, every viewer held their breath watching the panda suddenly charge. It's over. I warned everyone wild pandas are dangerous. One blow will injure Su Chi gravely. It was eating happily a moment ago. Why attack all of a sudden? Professor Li's hands grew slick with sweat. Wild animals are unpredictable by nature. They can turn hostile in an instant for no clear reason. Bing Bing covered her eyes, unable to watch. Su Chi won't survive this. Inside the cave, the panda's bulky form crashed into Su Chi. He squeezed his eyes shut, bracing for a fatal blow. Yet the expected strike never landed. Instead, a heavy fluffy weight crashed down onto his torso, warm damp breath washing over his cheeks. A soft whine echoed in his mind. The bones, they smell wonderful. Su Chi opened his eyes in astonishment to see the panda pinning him lightly to the ground, snatching the rabbit bone from his left hand and crunching it greedily. You like eating rabbit bones? Su Chi stared in disbelief at the strange sight. A giant panda happily gnawing on leftover rabbit bones. Does this even make sense? Not just Su Chi. None of the viewers in the live stream room had ever witnessed such a sight. What am I seeing? A wild giant panda gnawing on rabbit bones? Hey, you're a giant panda. Aren't you supposed to eat bamboo? What's wrong with our national treasure having a little meat once in a while? Eat up. The national treasure is so adorable. It looks just like a fluffy, round plush toy. Professor Li pushed his glasses up his nose. Bamboo makes up the staple diet of wild giant pandas, but that does not mean they are pure herbivores. On the contrary, giant pandas are omnivores. They occasionally hunt small animals to vary their diet. That said, one this fond of rabbit bones is truly rare. Bing Bing stared at the giant panda curled up on top of Su Chi, focused entirely on its meal, her heart melting from how cute it was. Big fluffy bear. It's absolutely precious. The audience was treated to an unprecedented spectacle. The panda got its feast, while Su Chi suffered. Crushed beneath a 200 to 300 gene giant panda, Su Chi could barely draw a full breath. Hey, you big lump. Shift your weight a little. You're going to crush every bone in my body. Een. Who are you calling fat? The panda grumbled unhappily and grudgingly shuffled its hindquarters aside. It spread out its paws. Empty. The rabbit leg bone had been gnawed clean to the marrow. No wonder you live off bamboo. Your teeth are definitely strong enough. Su Chi gave a thumbs up. Een. These bones taste amazing. I want more. The panda sat on the ground, staring up at Su Chi with pleading eyes. All right. I'll give you all of them. Happy now? Su Chi couldn't resist its pitiful gaze. He pulled out the leftover rabbit leg bones he'd stashed in the corner as his own reserve rations. But if the national treasure wanted them, what else could he do? He might as well indulge it. At the sight of the pile of pale rabbit bones, the panda's mouth watered. Een. Thank you, two-legged creature. I'll look out for you from now on. Su Chi scratched the tip of his nose and smiled. A handful of leftover bones, traded for friendship with a wild giant panda. That was a fantastic bargain. Watching the scene unfold, the livestream viewers couldn't hold back their laughter. Wait a second, this panda got bought off that easily? A pile of leftover rabbit bones is all it takes to win over a wild giant panda? And those were your hunted prey too. You let it steal them, and it's even thanking you? No wonder it's so cute. It traded brainpower for good looks. Inside the cave, the giant panda sat on the stone floor, holding bones up to its mouth with its fleshy paws. Its sharp teeth crunched effortlessly through the rabbit bones, producing a crisp, crackling sound. On its round head, two fluffy ears jutted out like oversized crispy snacks, utterly adorable. I wonder what its fluffy head feels like to touch. Su Chi's hands itched with curiosity, and he slowly edged closer to the feeding panda. Can I pet your head for a second? Su Chi rubbed his palms together nervously. The panda lifted its head to glance at him, too busy eating to pay him any real mind. Then I'm going to touch it. Seeing it offer no resistance, Su Chi reached out and grabbed both fluffy ears on top of its head. Pure bliss, those were his first thoughts. The ears were soft, covered in thick, downy fur with an incredible texture. Next, he stroked its rounded crown, and soon both hands were buried in its fluffy coat, rubbing and patting happily. Professor Li watched, dumbfounded. What is Su Chi doing? Petting a wild giant panda? This panda has an unusually gentle temperament. It's not fighting back at all, just letting him rub its head however he likes. Envy flooded Bing Bing's eyes. Let me take over. I want to pet a fluffy giant panda too. In the livestream chat, countless foreign viewers tuning in were left flabbergasted. What the heck is the Longwa contestant doing? Our competitors are struggling through wilderness survival, and Su Chi's over here petting pandas? Why doesn't this panda attack him? It's not fair. Some of our contestants have even been injured by wild beasts. How come Su Chi gets along with a giant panda? Longwa viewers flooded the chat with explanations. You don't get it. Giant pandas are our national treasure. naturally drawn to people from Longhua. There's historical precedent. Our ancestor Qiyu once tamed giant pandas to ride into battle. Exactly right. Iron Eaters have always shared a natural bond with people of Longhua. Back in the cave, Su Chi kept rubbing the panda's head until its fur was ruffled into a messy bird's nest. The simple, gentle bear paid no mind, fixated on its meal and letting him fuss over its fur freely. Een. Mama, can I come inside? There's a strange two-legged creature in here. I'm scared. A faint voice suddenly echoed inside Su Chi's mind. Who's that? Su Chi glanced at the giant panda, still munching away without making a sound. That wasn't you? Is someone else here? He frowned in confusion. Following the source of the voice, he walked toward the cave entrance. Bending down to look, he spotted a tiny black and white ball of fur hiding in the nearby grass, too nervous to step out. A giant panda cub. Its head was buried deep in the foliage, yet its round rear stuck out plain as day. At the sound of movement, the little one wriggled deeper into the grass, but its bulky hindquarters got stuck, refusing to fit fully out of sight. Don't spot the cub. The cub is terrified. Two-legged creature, go away. Leave the cub alone. The cub's anxious inner voice echoed in Su Chi's head, shaky and frightened. Su Chi chuckled, reached down, and lifted the cub by the scruff of its neck. The little cub was lifted off the ground before it could process what was happening. When it laid eyes on the unfamiliar human, it curled into a tight black and white ball of fur in terror. The two-legged creature is going to hurt the cub. Don't eat me. Panda meat doesn't taste good at all. Su Chi smiled at how skittish the cub was. Relax, I'm not going to hurt you. Don't be afraid. After a few comforting words, the cub slowly calmed down. Does this two-legged creature know what I'm thinking? How strange. It doesn't seem to mean me any harm. Su Chi carried the cub over to the adult panda. Hey, you left your cub outside. The mother panda barely lifted its eyes, uninterested, and returned to crunching bones. Chew chew chew, a cub? It'll survive if it's not starving. Don't interrupt my meal. Chew chew chew. Chew chew chew. These bones taste far better than bamboo. Seeing its mother ignore it completely, the cub's eyes drooped, overcome with dejection. Mama, look at me. I'm your baby. Two-legged creature. Put me down. I want to go to Mama. Su Chi laughed and set the cub on the ground. The tiny black and white ball rolled straight over to its mother's side, resting its small paws on her leg and staring up pleadingly. Mama, don't you want me anymore? Mama, what are you eating that smells so good? I want some too. Annoyed by the disturbance, the mother panda kicked the cub away. Scram. Stop ruining my meal. Chew chew chew. Raising cubs is such a hassle. I wish I hadn't had one. It ruins my meals. Chew chew chew. The cub scrambled back over after being kicked away. Get lost. Another kick sent the cub flying 5 meters across the stone floor, only stopping when it slammed into the cave wall. The cub sat stunned, curling into a tiny ball in the corner. Su Chi covered his face, unable to watch any longer. That's your baby after all. Are you really not going to check on it? A cub? Is it edible? The mother tilted its head and glanced at the little one huddled in the corner. Seeing it was still alive, it lost interest and went back to eating. No need to worry, it'll pull through. I grew up the same way. Chew 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 chew. A mother needs plenty of food to have the strength to protect her cub. Chew 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 in the live stream. Viewers were shocked by the mother panda's parenting style. This mama bear's way of raising a cub is certainly unique. You don't get it. This tough bear upbringing makes cubs grow into powerful, self-reliant adults. Are you sure about that? Feels like she just doesn't want to share her food. Ha ha ha, that's the real truth. Su Chi shook his head. It was their family business, and he didn't plan to meddle. Hey panda, I'll call you Mama Bear from now on, okay? Chew chew chew. Chew chew chew. Mama Bear kept gnawing bones, ignoring him entirely. All right, little one. Your teeth haven't fully grown in yet. You can't crunch hard bones anyway. Stick to tender bamboo shoots for now. Su Chi knelt beside the miserable cub and thought up a name for it. What should I call you? You're so round and fluffy. How about Yuan Yuan? He clapped his hands, settling on the name. The live stream flooded with question marks across the screen. Wait, you thought of a name in 1 second flat? Aren't you going to pick something with a meaningful backstory? Su Chi. Its own mom doesn't care about it. Why can't I pick a casual name? Yuan Yuan's not a bad name at least. Super easy to remember. Su Chi tried calling out. Yuan Yuan? Yuan Yuan tilted its head, utterly confused. Yuan Yuan? Is that something to eat? Yuan Yuan is your name. That's what I'll call you from now on. A name? What's that? Can you eat it? Su Chi smacked his forehead, giving up on explaining. Mother and cub were both total food fanatics. If he repeated the name enough times, the cub would catch on eventually. I caught Rain a while back. My chest has hurt terribly ever since Yuan Yuan's inner voice drifted into Su Chi's mind just then. It lay curled on the stone ground, looking miserable and weak. What's wrong? You were fine a minute ago. I can barely breathe. It hurts so much. Save me. Mama Su Chi picked the cub up and held it in his arms. It was a warm, fluffy bundle, even softer to the touch than its mother. But its body temperature was alarmingly high, far too hot. The two-legged creature's arms, so warm. If Mama didn't attack him, this two-legged creature can't be a threat to us, right? Su Chi paid no attention to the cub's wandering thoughts, focused entirely on examining its condition. He held its tiny paw and touched the soft pad underneath. It burned hot to the touch. Rapid, shallow breathing, elevated temperature, this cub's sick. Combined with tightness in its chest, it's almost certainly a lung infection. Su Chi frowned and pressed his ear against Yuan Yuan's chest. A faint bubbling, crackling sound echoed from within its ribcage. At this point, he was fully certain. Yuan Yuan had developed acute bronchopneumonia. This illness was extremely dangerous for a young cub. Left untreated, it could easily cost the little one its life. Before crossing over to this world of Blue Star, Su Chi had worked as a zookeeper back on Earth's Longwa. Constantly caring for all kinds of animals, he'd built up plenty of experience diagnosing wildlife illnesses. Symptoms matching Yuan Yuan's pointed directly at pneumonia triggered by bronchial infection. The bubbling rattle coming from its chest was a clinical sign known as moist rales, a key marker used to confirm pneumonia. The livestream audience fell silent in shock. Yuan Yuan seemed completely fine moments ago. How did it suddenly develop pneumonia? Wild animal cubs' illnesses progress extremely fast, and mortality rates are high. Pneumonia is especially deadly. What can we do? Can Su Chi find a way to help it? Pneumonia is incredibly hard to treat. Su Chi frowned, holding the weakening cub tight. Even with proper antibiotics outside in civilization, recovery is never guaranteed. In the wild like this, the infection can worsen into severe acute pneumonia in just a day or two, leading to respiratory failure and death. It's that serious? Will Yuan Yuan die? Mama Bear panicked, licking Yuan Yuan's body over and over again. Clear tears welled up in its round black eyes, dampening the fur around its eyelids. Bingbing clenched her fists tightly. Oh my goodness, giant pandas can cry too. Poor Yuan Yuan. Professor Lee shook his head. Adult giant pandas have the emotional capacity of a 5 or 6-year-old human child, capable of simple, genuine feelings. It's only natural for a mother to shed tears when her cub falls ill beside them. Dr. Zhang, one of the nation's top veterinary specialists, sighed heavily. Su Chi's diagnosis is accurate. Every single symptom lines up perfectly with pneumonia. Pneumonia is one of the top fatal acute illnesses for wild animal cubs. Wide temperature swings out in the wilderness, combined with getting soaked by rain, leave young cubs extremely vulnerable to developing this lung infection. Is there any possible cure? Bingbing pressed anxiously. Veterinarian Zhang shook his head. It would stand a chance with immediate professional medical intervention, but out here in the wild, the odds are stacked impossibly high against it. Nearly certain death. Inside the cave, Yuan Yuan trembled every few seconds as it huddled in Su Chi's embrace. He could feel the cub's life force fading away rapidly. If he did nothing, Yuan Yuan would not survive another 2 days. What am I supposed to do? Su Chi paced anxiously, rushing to the cave entrance to search for a remedy. The next second, his eyes lit up with hope. He had an idea. Near a clump of grass beside the cave entrance, several short green plants with oval-shaped leaves caught Su Chi's eye. He hurried over, dropped to his knees, and took a deep whiff. A sharp, distinct fishy scent washed over him. Su Chi's face lit up with excitement, his breath quickening. Houtuinia cordata, also known as fish mint. It possessed powerful antibacterial and antiviral properties, a natural wild antibiotic. He quickly plucked several stalks and carried them back into the cave. Using a stone, he crushed the plants until green sap oozed out. Then he tore a strip from his sleeve, wrapped the mashed herb inside, and squeezed gently to strain out drops of clear green liquid. The strong, fishy aroma, mixed with a fresh, earthy grass scent, filled every corner of the cave. Watching Su Chi's work, Professor Lee's worried expression vanished entirely. Fish mint. Su Chi is incredibly lucky to have found this herb. Since ancient times, Houtuinia cordata has been used in traditional Chinese medicine to treat lung ailments. There's real hope for Yuan Yuan now. Bingbing folded her hands together and began praying softly. Please let it recover, protect Yuan Yuan. Inside the cave, the preparation went smoothly. But a new problem arose with Yuan Yuan itself. When Su Chi held the fish mint juice to the cub's lips, it clamped its mouth shut and refused to open it for anything. What's this awful stuff? Bitter and fishy, It tastes terrible. I won't eat it. Take it away. Yuan Yuan's tiny fluffy limbs flailed wildly through the air, its jaws squeezed tight shut, refusing to budge. Su Qi frowned and gently pinched the sides of its muzzle. You need to take this medicine, don't fight it. Otherwise I can't help you get better. He applied light pressure, prying a narrow gap open in its mouth, and carefully dropped several drops of the green fish mint juice onto its tongue. Instantly, the bitter, fishy flavor spread thickly across its mouth. Bless, spit, spit, spit. Yuan Yuan's eyes blew wide open from the harsh taste, squawking loudly. The fish mint juice Su Qi had struggled to feed it got spat straight onto his face. Green liquid dripped down Su Qi's forehead. He wiped his cheek, helpless. It was just like a stubborn child refusing bitter medicine. Mama Bear, can you calm your cub down? Su Qi sighed. It won't get better if it won't take its medicine. Mama Bear waved its paws. Een, is there any sweeter medicine? It would eat it if it tasted good. A thought popped into Su Qi's head. He stepped back outside the cave, squatting near the patch where he'd found the fish mint. Several flowering plants grew there, with flat round leaves covered in fine white fuzz. Licorice root. He'd noticed these plants earlier while digging up the fish mint. Pulling out his machete to use as a makeshift hoe, he dug up the pale white licorice roots buried beneath the soil. He sliced off a piece, brushed dirt off on his shirt, and took a bite. A sweet, cool flavor mixed with fresh, earthy grass burst across his tongue instantly. Rich and mellow sweetness. Su Qi dug up several more root segments and returned to the cave. He unfolded the cloth holding mashed fish mint and mixed in the crushed licorice root. Then he set about feeding Yuan Yuan once more. Again he gently pried open its jaws and dropped a few drops of the blended juice inside. The licorice masked most of the fish mint's harsh bitterness, leaving a faint pleasant sweetness behind. Yuan Yuan smacked its lips, swallowed the liquid down its throat, and even opened its mouth wide, leaning forward to beg for more medicine. It's sweet. This tastes great. More please. Su Qi smiled and fed Yuan Yuan all the remaining mixture of fish mint and licorice. The livestream audience laughed at the scene. Yuan Yuan's, just like a little kid, refuses bitter medicine until you mix something sweet in it. I was exactly the same as a kid, throwing tantrums over medicine until my parents added sugar. All young creatures act this way. Human children or panda cubs, they're hardwired to reject bitter flavors. Thank goodness Su Qi found licorice root. It's sweeter than raw sugar when eaten fresh. Hope Yuan Yuan recovers soon. 3 to 4 hours passed after finishing the treatment. Yuan Yuan lay curled safely in Mama Bear's arms, fast asleep. His previously rapid breathing gradually steadied. His soaring body temperature also came under control and slowly dropped. Mother Panda lowered her head and licked Yuan Yuan's forehead. She could tell her cub's condition had improved greatly. All of this was thanks to the unfamiliar human before her. Two-legged creature. Thank you for saving my baby. Su Qi looked at the sleeping cub, now out of danger, and smiled. Yuan Yuan's going to be fine. If she makes it through today, a few more doses of How to Inia Chordata later should clear everything up. In the live stream's comment section, viewers were stunned by Su Qi's resourcefulness. Can How to Inia Chordata treat pneumonia? This is eye-opening. It's only mild, early-stage pneumonia, and How to Inia Chordata naturally reduces inflammation. Elderly folks from my grandparents' generation skip hospital medicine for tonsillitis and boil wild How to Inia Chordata to drink. It works just as well. Su Qi knows all this stuff. He's incredible. Su Qi leaned forward and stroked the cub's little head. Her forehead's cooled down. She's doing much better, he said with a grin. He had to admit, the sleeping giant panda cub looked just like a fluffy plush toy, never resisting his touches and feeling incredibly soft. Su Qi stroked her for several minutes before reluctantly pulling his hands away. Mother Panda tilted her head and thought for a few seconds. Earlier when she'd been eating, this two-legged creature had rubbed her head non-stop. Now he was petting her cub. Could it be he liked having heads rubbed? Her round black eyes lit up. She padded over to Su Qi and bowed her head voluntarily, letting out a soft whine. Rub my head too. Su Qi blinked in surprise, then laughed. What's this, Mama Panda? You want me to rub your head as well? Since she'd taken the initiative, Su Qi didn't hold back. He set both hands on her large skull and stroked her fur happily. Mother Panda's coat was coarser, but her head was bigger with far thicker fur, making the petting even more satisfying. The live stream viewers were utterly dumbfounded. Wait a second, you're a national treasure. Where's your dignity? Why bow down begging for head rubs? Ugh, I'm so jealous of Su Qi. He gets to pet the cub, and then Mama Panda too. Let me swap places with him and pet that panda. He kept petting her for ages until her fur stood messy all over her head before he pulled his hands away, satisfied. Mother Panda stared at the leftover sprigs of Houtoinia cordata on the ground. It's the same green as bamboo. I wonder how it tastes. No harm trying a bite to find out. Overcome by curiosity, she snatched a stalk and stuffed it into her mouth. Instantly, a sharp, bitter fishy taste flooded her mouth. Uft, uft. She spat repeatedly, shaking her massive head as if trying to expel every last bitter trace from her insides. Her face twisted in a grimace. No wonder Yuan Yuan had spat earlier. It tasted absolutely dreadful. Su Chi chuckled loudly. Ha ha ha, Mama Panda, that's medicinal herb. It's never going to taste good. If you want something sweet, try licorice root. Licorice? The sweet stock you mixed in earlier? Yep, it's really sweet. Su Chi tore off a small section of licorice root and held it out. Taste it for yourself. Mother Panda took a bite. Her round black eyes blew wide open instantly. The rich sweetness of licorice spread across her tongue, washing away the strange, bitter tang of Houtoinia cordata entirely. She glanced at the licorice root in her paw, then back at Su Chi, chewing slowly with pure disbelief written all over her face. He wasn't lying to this panda. There's a plant sweeter than bamboo in the world. Shame there's so little left. This remaining bit needs to go to Yuan Yuan. How did this two-legged creature discover such a delicious plant? Su Chi smiled. Licorice tastes great, but it won't fill your stomach. Treat it as a snack. If you tried living off it, every licorice plant in this forest wouldn't satisfy your appetite. Watching Mama Panda act like a food fanatic, the live stream viewers were thoroughly amused. Mama Panda's such a food lover. She even had to test the Houtoinia cordata. Ha ha, even a giant panda can't stand Houtoinia cordata's flavor. That fishy bitter taste would bother almost anyone, right? Speak for yourself. Cold mixed Houtoinia cordata is the best dish ever. Pandas just don't know good food. Drop the argument. Look how shocked Mama Panda is over licorice. I can't stop laughing. Mama Panda, a whole new delicious world just opened up for me. Su Chi stroked Yuan Yuan's head and fed her another serving of Houtoinia cordata halfway through. The cub's symptoms were fully under control now. It was time for him to leave. He couldn't keep staying in a giant panda's cave indefinitely. Just as he prepared to bid Mother Panda farewell, she wrapped both paws tightly around his calves. She whined pleadingly. Don't leave, two-legged one. Stay here with us. The forest is dangerous. Jackals, wolves, tigers, and leopards roam everywhere. You're thin and fragile. Venturing out alone would be suicide. Su Chi scratched the tip of his nose and smiled. Mama Panda really was kind-hearted. You want me to live in your cave? Mother Panda nodded vigorously with another soft whine. Absolutely. But her inner thoughts told a different story. This two-legged creature is amazing at looking after cubs. I can leave Yuan Yuan in his care from now on. If he leaves, where will I find such a reliable caretaker? Cubs are such a handful, pestering me for food nonstop, and I barely get enough to eat myself. After hearing her unspoken thoughts, Su Chi's mouth twitched. So he'd been roped into being a free babysitter for a wild giant panda? He shook his head, but didn't mind the arrangement one bit. After all, he got free shelter and a giant panda bodyguard for nothing. All he needed to do was help watch over her cub. By any measure, this deal worked perfectly in his favor. All right then. Su Chi patted her big head. I'll stay. We're roommates from now on. Mother Panda whined happily, clinging tighter to his legs to make sure he wouldn't run off. The live stream audience watched in shock. He's really moving in just like that? Mama Panda's so generous, sharing her cave with a stranger. Wait a minute. I swear Mama Panda's only letting him stay to get free cub-sitting help. Ha ha ha. You hit the nail on the head. Su Chi had been busy all morning, and his stomach rumbled loudly with hunger. Mother Panda was also starving, having stayed by Yuan Yuan's side without eating for hours, leaving her feeling weak and drained. She whined. Two-legged one, I'm going to forage for food. Will you come along? Su Chi nodded. Sure, I'll bring Yuan Yuan with me. This two-legged creature is far too skinny. He clearly hasn't eaten enough bamboo. I'll make sure he loads up later. Mother Panda waddled ahead with a proud sway of her hindquarters to lead the way. Su Chi carried Yuan Yuan in one arm and gripped his machete in the other, following close behind. Outside the cave stretched a lush, verdant forest. Tall birches and pines towered overhead, layers of green foliage blending into an endless emerald sea. Soft humus crunched underfoot, and the air carried a fresh, earthy scent. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves above. Birdsong and insect chirps echoed all around, painting a scene of serene tranquility. Viewers watching the live stream sighed with admiration at the breathtaking scenery. This landscape is unbeatable. It's a natural oxygen bar. Ever since Blue Star's resources dried up, I haven't seen such unspoiled, lush wilderness in years. Living here must be incredible, It instantly calms every worry. With Mother Panda leading the path, they didn't spot a single wild beast along the way. Even the surrounding insects quieted their chirps as they passed. This unmatched sense of safety, Su Chi swung his machete to hack through overgrown bushes. No surprise giant pandas sit near the top of the food chain. Every wild animal steers clear of them. They walked for 10 minutes before a clear, sparkling stream came into view. The water was crystal clear, small agile fish darting and playing beneath the surface. Mother Panda knelt down and lapped water from the stream. This was part of her daily routine. Drink first, then head to the bamboo grove to feed. A stream. Finally, clean drinking water. Su Chi had survived on just one bottle of water from the start of the game for days, his throat parched. His eyes lit up at the sight of the flowing water. He copied Mama Panda's posture, squatting by the bank and gulping mouthfuls of fresh stream water. Cool, sweet liquid slid down his throat, instantly soothing his raw, aching windpipe. Viewers watching the live stream burned with envy. He solved his water source that easily? That's way too lucky. Competitors from the neighboring nation are still kneeling to drink rainwater, while Su Chi found a pristine stream. Can you safely drink unboiled wild stream water? Won't he get sick? What's there to worry about? This water looks completely untouched by pollution. When I was a kid before pollution ruined everything, I drank creek water from my village all the time with zero issues. Phew, that's refreshing. Su Chi drank until his belly felt full before stopping. He wiped water droplets from his chin, feeling much less dehydrated. Mother Panda whined to urge him forward, patting ahead once more, and Su Chi followed. Another 10 minutes of walking brought them to a wide, open clearing. A vast, endless bamboo grove spread out before their eyes. Wind swept through the stalks, sending leaves swirling like rolling green waves. Mother Panda glanced back proudly and let out a low whine. This bamboo grove belongs to me. Eat your fill today. Everything here is on my tab. With that, she snapped off a tender young bamboo stalk and took a bite. Crack! Her sharp teeth crunched effortlessly through the tough stalk. Sweet bamboo sap flooding her mouth. She closed her eyes, utterly content. She glanced over to see the two-legged creature standing frozen in place, staring blankly. Why isn't he eating? Doesn't he have an appetite? She broke off a fresh young bamboo shoot stalk and held it out. With a soft whine. Don't hold back. Eat as much as you want. Su Chi stared down at the bamboo stalk held out in her paw. Me? Eat this. He had no doubt taking a bite would crack his teeth clean in two. I'm fine, Mama Panda. You eat the bamboo yourself. Mother Panda thought he was being polite and pressed the stalk against his chest insistently. Eat it. Look how thin and stick-thin you are. How will you grow strong without enough food? Su Chi wanted to cry. He wished he could eat it, but humans lack the digestive system of giant pandas. The live stream audience laughed at Mama Panda's earnest hospitality. Ha! Don't turn down her kindness. You'll break her heart. Mama Panda, eat it. Why won't he touch the bamboo? Su Chi, I'm not a giant panda. What would I even do with bamboo? Su Chi refused multiple times, but unable to turn down her warm gesture. He took the stalk from her paw. Mother Panda nodded happily with a whine. That's better. Listen to me. Eat 20 stalks a day, and you'll be as sturdy as me in a month. Su Chi smiled wryly. He had no intention of eating the bamboo stalk. Instead, he used it to brush away fallen dead leaves covering the ground. It wasn't long before he spotted exactly what he'd been searching for. A tender white bamboo shoot poked up through the leaf litter. Its tip tinged pale green. Su Chi grinned. This was his real target. He gripped his machete and dug the shoot free from the soil. A light, fresh fragrance filled his nose, stoking his hunger instantly. Ideally, bamboo shoots stir-fried with meat would be perfect, but out in the wilderness, he had no such luxury. He peeled away the tough outer husks, revealing soft, white, tender flesh beneath. He took a big bite, and the crisp, sweet flavor burst across his tongue. These newly sprouted shoots tasted wonderful, even raw. Su Chi polished most of the shoot down to a tiny tip. A soft, confused whine came from the cub tucked in his arms. Yuan blinked awake, her vision fuzzy after her nap. The first thing she saw was the pale, tender bamboo shoot. She opened her small mouth and bit down hard, catching Su Chi's finger along with the shoot. Ow, that hurts. Su Chi winced, shaking his hand gently. Let go, Yuan. That's my finger, not food. Yuan froze, eyes blown wide as she released her grip. Oh no. I bit the two-legged creature's hand. Will he get upset with me? Pandas don't taste good, I promise. Luckily, her newly grown teeth were still dull and harmless. Su Chi checked his finger, only slightly red and swollen, no broken skin. Pay more attention when you eat from now on. Don't bite my fingers, he chided, giving her head a gentle, firm ruffle. Yuan whined softly in apology. I'm sorry, Two-legged one, I won't bite you again. Looking at her hurt, dejected eyes, Su Chi felt equal parts exasperated and amused. Fine, you can have this last little tip. Yuan Yuan's sad expression vanished the second food was offered, replaced by bright excitement. She took a huge bite, her cheeks stuffed full of sweet bamboo shoot flesh. Slow down, no one's rushing you. Su Chi shook his head, chuckling. Yuan Yuan was just as much a food lover as her mother. Viewers in the live stream melted at the cub's cuteness. Ha ha, giant panda cubs are absolutely adorable. I wish every citizen of Dragon Country could raise a giant panda. Watching Yuan Yuan munch bamboo shoots is making me hungry too. Back in the bamboo grove, Su Chi kept hunting for more shoots, holding Yuan Yuan in one arm and using the bamboo stalk to brush away leaf litter with his other hand. He soon uncovered another fresh shoot pushing through the earth, its green tip dotted with glistening morning dew. He bent down and sliced it free with his machete. Just then, the cold mechanical notification tone of the National Destiny game echoed in his ears. Congratulations to Su Chi, competitor of Dragon Country, for discovering wild bamboo shoots. 10,000-fold resource return activated. Wild bamboo shoots times 10,000 have been randomly spawned across all regions of Dragon Country. In the next instant, countless bursts of green erupted across Dragon Country's wilderness. Thousands of pale green bamboo shoots sprouted from the soil everywhere, a symbol of vitality and hope unfurling across the nation. Dragon Country erupted in celebration. Amazing! Su Chi returned bamboo shoots, 10,000 of them. Bamboo reproduces rapidly and grows toughly. Within a year, these shoots will mature into full bamboo groves. The extensive bamboo root systems will also drastically help our nation control soil erosion. Su Chi glanced at the alert flashing on his wristwatch and smiled. After days of barely contributing anything, he'd finally brought real benefits to his country. The fresh shoot still coated in dirt was snatched by Yuan Yuan before he could set it down, and she bit into it greedily. Bamboo shoot, so tasty. Halfway through eating, she let out a satisfied burp that smelled faintly of bamboo. Su Chi stretched out a finger and stroked her fuzzy, rounded belly, now inflated like a full balloon. That's enough, don't overeat, he said, moving the shoot out of reach. Were you starved in a past life? Yuan Yuan wriggled in his arms, craning her neck to reach the shoot and whined desperately, on the verge of tears. Stop it. Wait until you digest what you've eaten first. There's plenty to go around. Su Chi gently held her back against his chest. Yuan Yuan huffed unhappily. You're so stingy, two-legged one. Save that shoot for me. I'll eat it once my stomach settles. She grumbled and curled up in his arms to fall back asleep. A soft whine pulled Su Chi's attention upward. Mother Panda had wandered over and was staring at the bamboo shoot in his hand, drooling. This two-legged creature really knows good food. He skips bamboo and goes straight for the tender shoots. Let me try a bite too. She raised a paw and swiped forward to snatch the shoot from Su Chi's grasp. Su Chi stepped backward cautiously. Mama Panda, this is reserved for Yuan Yuan. Her teeth are too young for tough bamboo. She can only eat soft shoots. Mother Panda disagreed, whining insistently. The cub's barely grown any fur. What does she know about good food? Let me taste it. Hand it over now. Su Chi stood no chance against a full-grown wild giant panda. Within seconds, the shoot was stolen from his hands. Mother Panda opened wide and devoured the entire shoot in one go. She whined happily, patting her full belly without the slightest guilt over stealing her cub's food. Su Chi's face fell. How could a mother steal food meant for her own baby? He glanced down at the sleeping Yuan Yuan, a peaceful smile tugging at the cub's lips, undoubtedly dreaming of eating more bamboo shoots after waking up. She had no idea her own mother had eaten her treat. The live stream audience roared with laughter. Ha ha, Mama Panda's such a glutton, she even steals her cub's food. No wonder Yuan Yuan acts like she's starving. With a mom who hoards all the food, she has to eat fast to get enough. Mama Panda, what would a tiny cub know about flavor? Let me test it first. Yuan Yuan, you stole my bamboo shoot, Mom. Su Chi shook his head, suddenly understanding Yuan Yuan's urgency. Growing up with a food-obsessed, inattentive mother like Mama Panda, it was a miracle the cub had survived this long. Oh well, this grove stretches for miles. I'll dig up more bamboo shoots. Su Chi kept digging for bamboo shoots. Before long, he unearthed another 2 plump, tender white bamboo shoots. Congratulations to Longwa contestant Su Chi for discovering 2 wild bamboo shoots. 10,000-fold rebate activated. 20,000 wild bamboo shoots have been randomly distributed across the territory of Longwa. Cheers erupted all over Longwa once more. More patches of green dotted the barren mountain ridges and farmlands. Whoa, Su Chi triggered another bamboo shoot rebate. He's incredible, what absurd luck. Bring us more. Deep in the wilderness forest, beneath a large tree, in front of a cluster of immature wild saplings, Mike, the contestant from Beacon Country, excitedly picked tart wild fruits. The fruit tasted overwhelmingly sour on his tongue. Moments later, the National Destiny Games 10,000-fold rebate announcement echoed out. The live stream chat exploded with activity. Amazing. As expected of Mike, he found edible fruit again. Even if it's sour, at least we won't starve. Mike wore a proud grin. That's just how capable I am. Beacon Country's bound to pull far ahead of Longwa now, right? Yet the very next second, the National Destiny Games voice cut through the air. Longwa contestant Su Chi has discovered bamboo shoots. 10,000-fold rebate activated. Mike's eyes widened, filled with disbelief. Damn it. Who's this kid from Longwa with such ridiculous luck? But this is nothing more than a fluke. My real strength is... He never finished his sentence. A string of successive notification chimes blared one after another. Congratulations to Longwa contestant Su Chi for discovering bamboo shoots. 7 or 8 alerts in a row left Mike's head spinning. Every single notice bore the same name. Su Chi of Longwa, sending thousands upon thousands of bamboo shoots back home. Good heavens. Did Su Chi stumble upon an entire bamboo grove? This is outrageous luck. Longwa was about to soar. Glancing down at the sour wild fruit clutched in his hand, Mike completely lost his composure. Longwa viewers cackled nonstop in the chat. Haha, didn't you look down on Longwa? How's that humiliation taste now? Go ahead and keep eating your sour fruit. Our Su Chi has unlimited bamboo shoots. Back in the bamboo grove, Su Chi had dug up 8 or 9 bamboo shoots, yet his hands remained empty. Every last one had been eaten by Mother Panda. Curled in his arms, Yuan blinked awake with drowsy eyes. Eep. The bear cub's awake. Time for bamboo shoots. Where are the bamboo shoots? Where's that huge bamboo shoot I saw earlier? The tiny panda cub waved its little paws wildly through the air. Eep. Two-legged human. Did you eat all my bamboo shoots? Looking at the huffy little cub, Su Chi helplessly gestured toward Mother Panda beside him. See? All your bamboo shoots are inside your mom's belly now. Yuan's eyes bulged as he twisted to stare at his mother. Mother Panda was shoving another bamboo shoot into her mouth. Catching her cub's gaze, she quickened her pace, cramming the final 2 bamboo shoots all the way down. Her cheeks bulged, so full she could barely close her mouth. Yuan's eyes grew wider and wider, his face frozen in shock. The next instant, a wail echoed across the forest. Wah! Mom, why did you eat all my bamboo shoots? Mother Panda shrugged, feigning total innocence. Eep! I have no idea where they went, little one. Su Chi pressed a palm to his forehead, thoroughly defeated. Such gluttons, no saving them. He ruffled Yuan's fuzzy head. It's all right. I'll dig you more bamboo shoots. This grove stretches far. There are plenty more to find. At those words, Yuan quieted down, still shooting indignant glares at Mother Panda. Mom's the bad one. The two-legged human is nice. The live stream chat erupted in laughter. Ha! Yuan woke up to his whole world falling apart. Mother Panda is way too greedy. She scarfed down the last 2 right in front of her cub. Such a bamboo shoot thief. And she got caught red-handed. Su Chi ate quite a few too, but Yuan was still asleep back then. The bamboo grove stretched far and wide. Even after digging for an hour or two, Su Chi had barely covered 1/5 of the area. He kept exploring, and soon unearthed several more tender white bamboo shoots. He peeled them clean and set them in Yuan's arms. Beside them, Mother Panda stared longingly, clearly still hungry. Yuan hugged the bamboo shoots tight to his chest, afraid they'd get snatched away. His round black eyes watched Mother Panda warily without blinking. Go on and eat, Yuan. Your mom can't steal your food this time, Su Chi told him. Yuan happily bit into the tender tip, leaving a neat row of tiny tooth marks. Su Chi glanced at the yearning Mother Panda and shook his head. If you want more, dig your own. Stop fixating on your cub's food. Eep. Humph. If you won't share, I'll dig an even bigger bamboo shoot all by myself. I'll rub it in your faces once I find one huge enough to make you jealous. Huffing in annoyance, Mother Panda waddled deep into the bamboo thicket, dropping to all fours to scratch and dig at the earth. Su Chi smiled and shook his head, amused by how childlike Mother Panda acted. He turned back to digging bamboo shoots and paid her no mind. Suddenly, rustling noises drifted over from ahead. Mother Panda had pinned down a vibrantly feathered bird and opened her jaws to take a bite. Su Chi froze. It was a wild hen. Cluck, cluck. Spare me. I have baby chicks waiting for me. Somebody help. Save me. Hold on, Mother Panda. Su Chi shouted, hurrying forward. At Su Chi's voice, Mother Panda halted mid-bite. She twisted her head to stare at him in confusion. Eep. Bird meat tastes delicious. Stepping closer, Su Chi spotted the hen's rounded belly, clearly full of unlaid eggs. The wild hen looked at Su Chi as if he were her savior. Cluck cluck, two-legged human, save me. I'll lay eggs for you to eat. Su Chi chuckled. Mother Panda, this hen can lay eggs. We can keep her, and then we'll have fresh wild eggs every single day. Mother Panda shot Su Chi a doubtful glance. Eep, aren't you foolish, two-legged human? What if she flies away? Eating her right now is far more reliable. Food in the belly is real food. With that, Mother Panda leaned in again, ready to take a bite of the hen. Wait a second. Su Chi quickly held her back. Let me talk to her first and see if she'll listen to me. Though Mother Panda remained skeptical, she let the hen go at Su Chi's request. The hen flapped its wings, ready to fly off. Su Chi gave it a light swat, sending loose feathers floating through the air and making the hen stare blankly for a moment. I just saved your life. You planned to run off without a word. Cluck cluck, kind savior. Tell me what you want me to do. How about I lay 2 eggs as repayment for sparing me? The hen tensed its belly, and several dark, oval wild eggs rolled out onto the ground. Mother Panda's eyes lit up. She snatched one egg and bit down hard. A sharp crack echoed as the egg split open, yolk and white spilling all over the dirt. Eep! Mother Panda licked egg liquid off her paws, delighted by the rich flavor. Cluck cluck, savior, I've given you eggs now. Can I leave at last? The hen flapped its wings once more, ready to take flight. Su Chi stroked his chin, deep in thought. Not so fast, he said with a warm smile. This forest is full of danger. Wild wolves, big cats, all kinds of predators lurk everywhere. If you leave today, you might get hunted tomorrow. You're right, savior. I've faced countless dangers over the past 2.5 years, barely escaping death each time. The hen nodded fearfully. If I couldn't fly, I would have perished ages ago. I've got a proposal for you, Su Chi said cheerfully. Stay here with us. I'll build you a safe chicken coop and bring you food every day. Mother Panda will guard you from all threats. In exchange, all the eggs you lay belong to us. What do you say? The second Su Chi laid eyes on the wild hen, he'd wanted to keep her. Having a steady supply of wild eggs out in the wilderness would be fantastic. His offer held great appeal for the hen, guaranteed safety and unlimited food. After a few seconds of consideration, the hen quickly agreed. Cluck cluck, I accept. But you have to make sure this giant panda never tries to eat me. Su Chi ruffled Mother Panda's round fuzzy head. Mother Panda's gentle. She'd never hurt you. Aren't you, Mother Panda? Eep. Mother Panda nodded and licked her paws, putting on a harmless, sweet expression. The hen eyed her warily, utterly unconvinced. She'd nearly been crushed by that palm moments before. Su Chi dug up many more bamboo shoots afterward, stopping only when his arms could barely carry another. Yuan Yuan's belly bulged out round and full after eating his fill, radiating pure contentment. The sun dipped west, casting long dark shadows across the bamboo grove. Let's head back, Mother Panda, Su Chi called. Mother Panda trotted after him, clutching leftover bamboo stalks in her paws. The wild hen stuck close to Su Chi's side. Constantly nervous Mother Panda might decide to make her a meal. Now that I think about it, I haven't given you a name yet. Su Chi turned to the hen. How about Brother Rooster? Sound good. Cluck cluck. The hen flapped its wings in protest. Brother Rooster? I'm a female hen. Why give me such a name? Su Chi paid no heed to her complaints and nodded in satisfaction. Perfect. From now on, you're Brother Rooster. The live stream chat lost it completely. You've got a weird sense of humor, naming a hen Brother Rooster. Don't complain later when you eat the eggs Brother Rooster lays. They reached the cave as the sun neared the horizon. Golden sunset light spilled over the forest, casting long tree shadows. Su Chi gathered dry branches and weeds beside the cave to build a simple coop for Brother Rooster. Brother Rooster, this is your new home. Su Chi clapped dust off his hands. Go settle in. If it's not comfortable enough, I'll adjust it later. Before he finished speaking, a tiny black and white ball scrambled inside. Yuan Yuan. He curled up inside, his shiny black eyes curiously examining every corner, rolling back and forth happily. Eep, this nest is warm. The bear cub wants to live here forever. Su Chi's mouth twitched. This coop is for Brother Rooster. You already have the whole cave to sleep in. Come out. Eep. Yuan Yuan pretended not to hear, curling into a fluffy black and white ball in the straw. Su Chi lifted him by the scruff of his neck and hauled him out of the coop by force. Eep. The two-legged human bullies the bear cub. Mom, save me. Yuan Yuan's stubby limbs kicked wildly in midair, powerless against Su Chi's grip. Mother Panda glanced at her cub, ignored his cries, and went back to munching bamboo stalks. Su Chi set Yuan Yuan down, and Brother Rooster fluttered into the coop at once. She settled into the soft straw, thoroughly pleased by the warmth. Cluck cluck, this is wonderful. Cozier than any nest I've ever built for myself. Rest assured, two-legged human, I'll lay you another egg tomorrow morning. Su Chi grinned in relief. That was exactly what he'd hoped to hear. Later he'd hunt more bugs to feed Brother Rooster, aiming for one egg every single day. He'd truly have unlimited wild eggs then. The sun sank fully below the tree-line, night swallowing the entire forest like a rising tide. Su Chi curled up in a corner of the cave with Mother Panda and Yuan Yuan to sleep. It was the most peaceful night's rest Su Chi had gotten since arriving in the wilderness. The next morning, Su Chi woke to a soft licking sensation. He opened his eyes to find the tiny black and white cub perched beside his head, a pink little tongue brushing across his forehead. Eep! Two-legged human, wake up quickly. Su Chi wiped a layer of Yuan Yuan's saliva off his face with his sleeve, faintly disgusted, unsure how long the cub had been licking him. Yuan Yuan leaned forward, tongue out, ready to lick him again. Stop licking me, that's gross. Su Chi gently pushed Yuan Yuan away, wrinkling his nose. The live stream chat flooded with envious comments. Waking up to a baby panda licking your face? That's the dream life. Su Chi's actually complaining? I'd trade places with you in a heartbeat. This cub is so adorable. I'd happily lick him instead. Hurry check if Brother Rooster laid an egg. Su Chi glanced around. Mother Panda was already awake, sitting by the cave entrance chewing bamboo. Golden morning sunlight draped over her fluffy black and white coat, coating her fur in a soft golden glow. Eep! Good morning, two-legged human. Seeing Su Chi awake, Mother Panda nodded and held out a fresh bamboo stalk toward him. Have bamboo for breakfast. Su Chi smiled and shook his head. No thanks, Mother Panda. I'll eat the bamboo shoots we brought back yesterday. Speaking of which, where did I put those bamboo shoots last night? He scanned every corner of the cave, not a single bamboo shoot in sight. I dug 20 yesterday and left them right here by the wall. Where did they all go? He turned to Mother Panda, who ducked her head guiltily and crunched louder on her bamboo stalk. Early rising bears get bamboo shoots. You slept in too late, so you get none. Hearing her inner thoughts, Su Chi froze where he stood. You ate all 20 bamboo shoots? Not a single one left for me. Mother Panda Optical lifted her head with a wounded look. Eep! It wasn't just me, Yuan Yuan ate his share too. Su Chi looked down at Yuan Yuan, who puffed out his round egg-shaped belly proudly. Eep! Bamboo shoots taste amazing. Su Chi slapped his forehead, defeated. You ate every last bamboo shoot, and you're still proud of it? The live stream chat burst with laughter. Huh? Mother Panda and Yuan Yuan polished off all Su Chi's bamboo shoots. Mother and cub, both hopeless gluttons. Mother Panda's logic. You slept late, so no food for you. I thought Su Chi hit the jackpot teaming up with pandas. Turns out he might still starve. Su Chi waved the thought away. Forget the bamboo shoots. Let's go check on Brother Rooster's egg. Stepping out of the cave, he spotted Brother Rooster scratching at the dirt in the grass ahead, hunting for worms with sharp claws. At the sound of footsteps, she lifted her head and brightened when she saw Su Chi, flapping her wings excitedly. Cluck cluck, boss. I laid an egg last night. Su Chi nodded happily, relieved to have at least one reliable companion. He planned to light a small fire soon and roast the wild egg for breakfast. But when he turned to look inside the chicken coop, his jaw dropped in shock. The coop sat completely empty, not a single egg, not even a stray feather. Brother Rooster, where's your egg? Brother Rooster scurried over, flapping her wings. Staring into the empty coop, her eyes bulged in panic. Cluck cluck. Where's my egg? Where did my big egg go? Boss, I really laid one early this dawn. Su Chi heard her honest inner voice and knew she wasn't lying. He spun around to stare at Mother Panda by the cave mouth. Mother Panda, don't tell me you ate the egg too. Eep, I didn't touch it. Don't falsely accuse me. Mother Panda shook her head, feigning total innocence. So it wasn't Mother Panda? Su Chi stroked his chin, then lifted Yuan Yuan up by his scruff. Yuan Yuan, did you sneak and eat the egg? Yuan Yuan shook his head rapidly, eyes glistening with hurt. Eep, the bear cub didn't eat it. Viewers in the live stream began speculating nonstop. There's a hidden thief among them. Who stole Brother Rooster's egg? Maybe Brother Rooster lied and never laid one at all. I bet Mother Panda ate it. She finished all the bamboo shoots after all. But she's terrible at hiding guilt. That wounded act doesn't feel fake, so it's probably not her. Yuan Yuan could be the culprit too. This is just like a murder mystery game. Su Chi set Yuan Yuan back down and sank into thought. Both pandas always showed obvious guilt after stealing food, and neither looked guilty right now. Who else could it be? At that moment, Su Chi caught sight of unfamiliar animal prints along the small path beside the coop out of the corner of his eye. The paw prints resembled cat paws, with tightly clustered sharp claw marks and tiny soft pad impressions, clearly left by a small creature. The shallow indentations in the dirt further confirmed it was a lightweight small animal. Mother Panda, Brother Rooster, come look at this, Su Chi called them over. Do either of you recognize these prints? Did you spot any strange animals lingering near the coop this morning? Cluck cluck, Brother Rooster shook her head. Boss, I didn't see any animals approach at all. Mother Panda lowered her head to sniff the scent left on the dirt prints. Eep, strong fox musk. A fox stole the egg for sure. Su Chi blinked in surprise. A fox? Mother Panda's words clicked everything into place for Su Chi. Wild foxes regularly raid bird nests for eggs, and wild hen eggs were a favorite snack of theirs. What's more, the small, shallow paw prints perfectly matched a fox's tracks. Su Chi told Mother Panda to follow the fox's trail and lingering scent to track it down. The prints faded away once they reached the open grass, and the scent trail vanished almost entirely. Su Chi frowned. Foxes were notoriously cunning creatures. Having tasted the reward once, it would definitely return again. If it caught Brother Rooster unguarded next time, it might kill the hen entirely. That would be a terrible loss for him. We have to catch this fox. Su Chi stared out at the vast forest. Searching for a single fox here was no different from fishing for a needle in the ocean. Then there was only one option left. Wait for it to come to him. Foxes were nocturnal creatures. It must have snuck in to steal the eggs around 4 or 5 in the early morning, which lined up perfectly with when Rooster laid his eggs. Su Chi ruffled Mama Panda's fuzzy head. Mama Panda, I've got a tough task for you. Don't sleep tonight. Keep watch at the cave entrance. If that fox dares show its face, you tackle it right away. And when we catch it, I'll roast fox meat for you. Mama Panda had been ready to turn him down, but the words, roast fox meat, made her mouth water instantly. Eep, leave it to me. Mama Panda thumped her chest confidently. Yuan waved her tiny panda paws, her little eyes deadly serious. Eep, I'll help catch the bad fox. All right, leave it to your mom. You're still too little. You might not even stand a chance against the fox. Su Chi laughed, lifting Yuan into his arms and stroking her head. Bullet screen comments flooded the live stream nonstop. It's a fox? Mama Panda's great at solving cases. This fox has some nerve, sneaking into Mama Panda's territory to steal eggs. Wild foxes are bold. They'll steal from tigers, let alone giant pandas. Beside the cave, Su Chi's stomach rumbled loudly. He hadn't eaten a thing since dawn. He glanced inside the cave. The space was cramped, and it felt stifling sleeping there overnight. Su Chi made up his mind. He'd build a simple bamboo hut with bamboo. The whole bamboo grove belonged to Mama Panda, so there was no sense letting it go to waste. Su Chi set off into the forest with Mama Panda and Yuan, following the path they'd taken the day before. Rooster trotted along behind them, pecking at tiny bugs on tree trunks every few steps. Rustle, rustle, Su Chi stepped across soft humus soil, breathing in the fresh scent of plants and damp earth. Morning sunlight filtered through the dense forest canopy, casting dappled streaks of light across the ground. Suddenly, Su Chi spotted a fruit tree beside the trail. It was a peach tree, shaded by taller surrounding trees. It hadn't grown very large, yet its branches were heavy with plump, full peaches. Su Chi told the animals to halt, then hacked through tangled underbrush with his machete to get closer. A rich, ripe peach aroma washed over him. He plucked the fullest-looking peach. Its crimson skin was dusted with soft white fuzz. He wiped it roughly on his clothes and took a bite. Juice burst across his tongue like water splitting open, sweet and refreshing. The tender peach flesh melted on his palate, sweet without being cloying. Su Chi tossed another peach to Mama Panda. Try this, Mama Panda. Mama Panda lowered her head, sniffed the fruit on the ground, and tilted her head. Eep, what's this? Is it better than bamboo? She took one small bite, and her eyes blew wide. She stared at the half peach left in her paw, then back at Su Chi, frozen in shock. Next second, she crammed the rest of the peach, pit and all, into her mouth and swallowed it whole. Eep, delicious. More. Mama Panda scrambled over to the base of the peach tree, wrapped her paws around the trunk, and shook it with all her might. Crash rustle. Countless peach leaves and ripe fruit showered the ground. Mama Panda squatted beneath the tree, gobbling peaches one after another to her heart's content. How did this two-legged human know this fruit tastes so good? I walk past this tree every single day and never noticed it. Yuan hugged a peach bigger than her own head, burying her face into it to nibble. By the time she finished, her whole muzzle was stained bright red. Rooster didn't miss out either, pecking furiously at a fallen peach. Cluck cluck, so tasty. At that moment, the National Fortune Game System's announcement echoed out loud. Congratulations to Longwa contestant Su Chi for discovering a wild peach tree. 10,000-fold return activated. 10,000 wild peach trees have been randomly spawned across all territory of Longwa. In an instant, thousands upon thousands of peach trees sprouted all over Longwa, heavy with crimson ripe fruit, filling the air with sweet peach fragrance. Longwa erupted in celebration. A peach tree just popped up in my residential complex. Seeing Su Chi eating them made me crave one, and now I get to try them too. I just ate one, so sweet. No wonder Mama Panda went crazy for them. On Su Chi's live stream, foreign viewers were utterly defeated. Why does Su Chi get all the luck? He got tons of bamboo shoots yesterday, and now peach trees today? They must taste sour, I'm sure of it. But they all look like they're enjoying them. I'm starving just watching. Back under the peach tree, Su Chi patted his full belly and burped, the scent of peaches lingering on his breath. Let's go, Mama Panda. The peach tree isn't going anywhere. We can come back for more later. We've got work to finish first. Su Chi dragged the still unsatisfied Mama Panda to the bamboo grove. He picked a mature 10-year bamboo stalk and tapped its segmented trunk. The bamboo stood firm and sturdy, perfect material for his hut. Mama Panda, I'm borrowing some of your bamboo. Hope you don't mind? Mama Panda sat on the fallen bamboo leaves, munching bamboo shoots, and shot him a glance. Eep, take whatever you want. This grove's so big I can't even finish eating it all myself. Su Chi grinned. Just as he thought, Mama Panda was a generous bear you could count on. He gripped his machete tight, flexing his arm muscles, and swung hard. Crack! A deep white split carved into the green bamboo stalk. After several more swings, the bamboo toppled with a rustle. Su Chi wiped sweat from his forehead, gasping for breath. He'd only cut one stalk, and he was already worn out. Just then, Mama Panda lumbered over to his side. Eep! You're that out of shape? You're huffing and puffing just cutting one bamboo stalk? She shot Su Chi a dismissive look and flexed her powerful arm muscles. Eep! Watch closely. 2 legs. This paw strike's gonna be impressive. Her paw blurred through the air and slammed straight into a thick bamboo stalk. Snap! The bamboo split clean through and crashed to the ground as easily as snapping a thin reed. Su Chi's jaw dropped, frozen where he stood. He glanced at the machete in his hand, then back at Mama Panda's rippling muscles, feeling utterly defeated. He'd huffed and strained for ages to cut one stalk, yet Mama Panda had broken one with a single slap. Did the Blue Star game designers assign stats without thinking at all? Mama Panda held her paw aloft proudly. Eep! 2 legs weak, Panda strong. Su Chi's face darkened. All right, no need to show off like that. Mama Panda only grew more smug at his reaction. One slap, one bamboo stalk down. In no time, every stalk nearby had been broken, leaving a cleared patch. That's enough, Mama Panda. We won't even use all of these. Mama Panda glanced at Su Chi, flicking her dark eye patches in a teasing gesture, then held out a bamboo stalk to him. Eep! If you ate more bamboo every day, you wouldn't be so scrawny and weak. If you chowed down 20 stalks a day, you'd have real strength. Su Chi rubbed his forehead helplessly, too tired to argue with her. Viewers burst out laughing in the bullet comments. Ha ha, I can see pure mockery on a giant panda's face. Mama Panda's such a riot. Mama Panda's logic. Eat more bamboo, get stronger, stop complaining about being out of shape. Standing amid piles of cut bamboo, Su Chi faced a new problem. The stalks were heavy and cumbersome. How would he haul them back to the cave? He looked over at Mama Panda, standing with her paws on her hips, still preening over her strength, and a plan popped into his head. Got it. Ahem, Mama Panda, could you help me carry all this bamboo back? Mama Panda eyed him warily. Eep, you want me to work for free? Do I look foolish? Su Chi scratched his nose, embarrassed. He hadn't expected Mama Panda to be so sharp-witted. Of course not. I watch over Yuan for you every day, and you help me carry bamboo. We help each other out. Besides, look how powerful and strong you are. I could never move all this bamboo by myself. Su Chi showered her with compliments, and Mama Panda's mood brightened by the second. This scrawny 2-legged human's words are awfully nice. Fine, I'll help him out. After all, I'm clearly the stronger one here. She nodded her round head and thumped her chest. Eep, leave it to me. Mama Panda grabbed one bamboo stalk in each paw and dragged them effortlessly, carving deep ruts into the earth as she walked. Su Chi trailed behind, keeping the praise coming. You're amazing, Mama Panda. No one's as strong as you. Mama Panda practically floated on cloud 9 from the compliments. Before Su Chi even asked for more help, She turned and trotted back to the grove to haul the remaining stalks on her own. By mid-morning, Mama Panda had carried 20 full bamboo stalks back to the cave. Su Chi stroked her fuzzy head, staring at the neat stacks of bamboo piled before the cave, a huge grin spreading across his face. Great work, Mama Panda. Truly the wild territory's ruler. Your strength's unmatched. Mama Panda bumped her head gently against his palm, full of pride. Deep. Naturally. Just look how powerful I am. The livestream viewers couldn't hold back their laughter. Ha, Su Chi's just buttering up a wild giant panda. Poor naive Mama Panda, working hard for nothing just to soak up his praise. You can tell how proud she is. She worked non-stop without complaining once. I'm reporting Su Chi for illegally hiring wild animals as laborers. Professor Lee polished his glasses, utterly stunned. I never imagined Su Chi could convince a wild giant panda to do work for him. Truly remarkable. Bing Bing giggled non-stop. Mama Panda's too simple-minded, falling for his flattery so easily. After chatting with Mama Panda for a while, Su Chi got ready to start building the bamboo hut for real. He gripped his machete, trimming off all the small branches and slicing the bamboo trunks into uniform strips. Mama Panda wandered over wanting to lend a paw, but Su Chi quickly stopped her. No need, Mama Panda. Go eat peaches instead. Mama Panda's fuzzy ears shot straight up with joy, darting off into the woods at once. Yuan trotted along behind her, the pair of black and white fur balls vanishing into the trees. It wasn't that Su Chi didn't want her help. This step required smooth, even-cut bamboo cross-sections to assemble the hut properly. One of Mama Panda's powerful swats would split the stalks to unusable pieces. He labored away all afternoon, and as the sun dipped low toward the treetops, he finally finished the basic frame. Now, on a gentle slope a short distance from the cave, a sturdy frame stood constructed from over a dozen thick bamboo stalks. Su Chi had picked this slope on purpose. It sat higher than the surrounding ground, so rainwater wouldn't pool around it during storms. It was close enough to the cave to ward off random wild creatures. Well ventilated, and bathed in plenty of sunlight. Su Chi nodded in satisfaction. Tomorrow he'd gather banana leaves and dry grass to layer over the roof for waterproofing, and the hut would be fully finished. After that, he wouldn't have to squeeze into the cramped cave with Mama Panda every night. A rustling sound echoed through the forest. Mama Panda poked her head out, Yuan curled safely in her arms. She stared curiously at the brand new bamboo structure beside the cave, reaching out a paw to poke it. Eep, bamboo? Can I eat it? Su Chi hurried over to stop her. Mama Panda, don't, this isn't food. It's my new place to live. Eep. If I can't eat it, what's even the point? Mama Panda huffed in disdain, ready to head into the cave for a nap. Su Chi tugged at her arm. Don't forget your task tonight, Mama Panda. Mama Panda stared blankly for a long moment before remembering they had to stake out the egg thief fox. Eep. She patted her chest, signaling she'd grab a quick nap, first then wake up in the middle of the night to catch the thief. Mama Panda trundled into the cave to sleep, but Yuan's curiosity flared. Eep. I'll catch the thief. Su Chi smiled, stroking her tiny head. You're still too young. Wait until you grow bigger to catch foxes. Yuan shook her head, hiding herself in the thick grass beside the chicken coop. Her round black eyes locked firmly on the coop, her small face set in determined focus. The sun sank quickly, swallowing the forest in darkness. Su Chi stepped into the cave to find Mama Panda already snoring loudly in her sleep. Su Chi shook his head. Mama Panda was clearly unreliable for night watch duty. He'd have to stay alert himself tonight. He leaned against the cave wall, forcing his eyes open to keep watch on the chicken coop. If that fox dared return, he'd make sure it didn't get away unscathed. Time ticked on, deep into midnight. No sound came from the chicken coop at all, only the wind whistling through the trees, sounding like a giant's distant roar. Su Chi had worked nonstop all day, and sleep crashed over him in waves. His eyelids grew heavy, and eventually he couldn't fight the exhaustion any longer, drifting off into deep sleep. He had no idea how much time had passed before a commotion jolted him awake. The cave was still pitch black. Dawn hadn't broken yet. Eep. I caught the thief fox. Don't run away. Cluck cluck. Cluck cluck. Stop the thief. Stop the thief. Yuan's cries mixed with Rooster's panicked clucks, interwoven with the fox's snarling and the crash of their fight. Su Chi jolted upright in shock, rubbing his face hard to shake off sleep and sprinting outside the cave. The sight before him left him frozen in place. Moonlight spilled down like liquid silver, bathing the entire forest in pale glow. The faint gray tint of approaching dawn barely lit the scenery enough to make out shapes. Beside the chicken coop, a rust-colored fox clamped a warm egg in its jaws. Its hind legs thrashed wildly, yet it couldn't shake off the tiny black and white fur ball clinging tight to its body. Yuan Yuan had ambushed the fox the second it tried to sneak off, catching it red-handed. Rooster hopped around nearby in a fluster, too nervous to step into the fray. Cluck cluck. Go Yuan Yuan go. When Yuan Yuan spotted Su Chi emerge, she bit down even harder on the fox. I'll bite you for stealing 2 legs eggs. Thieving fox. You'll pay for stealing our food. Su Chi stared in shock. He hadn't realized Yuan Yuan possessed such surprising strength. At barely 2 months old, she'd managed to capture a fully grown fox. The fox's inner thoughts echoed into Su Chi's mind. Annoying panda cub. What's wrong with you? I didn't steal your eggs. Why pick a fight with me? I'd have bitten you to bits if I wasn't scared of waking your mother. Let me go right now, or we'll both get hurt. Moments later, Yuan Yuan's stamina began to fade. The fox strained harder to break free, ready to bolt at any second. Su Chi lunged forward in a tackle and seized the fox entirely. The small fox snarled viciously even as Su Chi held it by the scruff of its neck. Hiss! Put me down this instant, or I'll bite you. Su Chi huffed a laugh at the little creature's fierce temper. The fox weighed roughly 3 or 4 jin, its body stretching 40 centimeters long. It could hold its own against Yuan Yuan, but against Su Chi, it would learn the true power of upright humans. Su Chi gripped the fox's scruff in one hand and held its hind legs in the other to stop it kicking wildly. Mama Panda stumbled out of the cave, woken by all the noise. She glanced at the fox dangling in Su Chi's grasp. The tufts of fox and panda fur scattered across the ground, then at Yuan Yuan, her fur matted and messy from the brutal fight. Mama Panda stared, stunned. Eep! This is the fox stealing our eggs. Su Chi's mouth twitched. Don't act innocent. I told you to stand guard last night, and you slept through everything. Yuan Yuan stayed up all night waiting and caught the thief single-handedly. Mama Panda shrank back, looking sheepish. A second later, a thought hit her. Eep! Yuan Yuan caught it? Then what were you doing all night? You fell asleep too, so don't lecture me. Su Chi hadn't expected Mama Panda to turn his words back on him. He scratched his nose awkwardly. Hee. Well, the main thing is we caught the thief. No more eggs getting stolen now. Yuan Yuan puffed out her chest and stood tall before Su Chi, radiating pride. Eep. I'm amazing. Su Chi knelt down and stroked her head. You really are incredible, Yuan Yuan. You stayed up all night and caught the thief. Yuan Yuan had pulled an all-nighter without a wink of sleep, just to catch the fox. Su Chi pinched her chubby round cheeks, noticing the dark circles under her eyes looked even deeper than usual, though for a panda cub, dark markings around the eyes were only natural. By now, dozens of viewers had flooded the live stream early in the morning. When they saw the fox dangling in Su Chi's grip, the entire audience went silent with shock. Wait a minute, they actually caught the egg thief? So it really was a fox stealing the eggs. Mama Panda's guess was spot on. Mama Panda kept watch all night and finally nabbed the culprit. Correction, Yuan Yuan caught it. Both Su Chi and Mama Panda slept through the stakeout. A baby panda cub pulled an all-nighter to catch a full-grown fox? Even cartoons wouldn't dare write this plot. One grown human, one adult giant panda, both less reliable than a tiny panda cub. Yuan Yuan carries all the weight of this little group. What would they do without her? Shortly after capturing the fox, the sleep-deprived Yuan Yuan could no longer stay awake. She collapsed onto the ground and fell fast asleep, soft little snores echoing out only moments later. Young people really do sleep soundly. They can pass out the second their heads hit a pillow or even the ground. Su Chi carried Yuan Yuan back to the cave. After that, he planned to discuss what to do with the fox with Mama Bear and Brother Rooster. As soon as Su Chi set the fox down, it tried to bolt. A bear paw crashed down from above, cutting off its escape route, and the fox's fluffy tail shot straight up in fright. Eep! Roast fox! Roast fox! Mama Bear stared at the fox, the fur around her mouth glistening with drool. Squeak! The fox instantly bristled all over. Squeak! Don't eat me. Fox meat tastes terrible. Su Chi squatted down in front of the fox. You don't want to be eaten? But you stole my eggs. You need to make it up to me somehow. Do you have any food to give me? The fox shook its head, trembling all over. It was a fox, not a hamster. It had no habit of hoarding food. Then I guess I have no choice, Su Chi sighed. Brother Rooster, what do you think we should do? Cluck cluck, egg thief. Kill it for meat. Brother Rooster was furious. If Yuan Yuan hadn't been there, the fox would have tried to eat him that night too. The little fox was so scared it nearly lost control of its bladder and quickly begged for mercy. Squeak, I'll hunt food for you to make up for it. Beside them, Mama Bear could barely contain her impatience. If Suchi hadn't said they should roast the fox, it would already be inside her stomach. Eep. 2 legs, light the fire quickly. I'll pluck this fox's fur. Hold on, Mama Bear. Suchi blocked the eager bear. The little fox's big, pleading eyes tugged at his heartstrings, and he took pity on it. Now he understood why people said foxes were clever creatures. There was something truly pitiful about how it begged for its life. 2 legs, what are you doing? Mama Bear tilted her head in confusion. Suchi explained, calm down, Mama Bear. This little fox wants to earn its pardon by bringing us food. What it brings back might be more valuable than eating it. Mama Bear thought it over and saw the logic in his words. Eep. But what if it runs off and never comes back? Mama Bear's practical side kicked in. The little fox patted its chest confidently. Squeak. Don't worry. I always keep my word. I never go back on a promise. Rest assured, I'll be back within a day with plenty of prey to make up for you. Looking at the fox's self-assured expression, Suchi reluctantly agreed to trust it. Fine, I'll wait for you. The little fox let out a huge sigh of relief, its small eyes fixed warily on Mama Bear as it crept 2 steps toward the woods. Seeing Mama Bear make no move to stop it, the fox vanished into the underbrush in a flash. In the live stream, the comment section exploded. You're just letting it go? Foxes are famous tricksters. I don't think the little fox was lying. It'll definitely come back. The fox is so cute. Why would anyone want to eat it? Let it run free. I don't want to watch such an adorable creature get cooked. Back beside the cave, the sky had turned pale gray after the whole ordeal with the fox. The forest hummed with morning activity, crickets chirping and birds singing nonstop. Mama Bear squatted on the ground, sulking. Stupid 2 legs, falling for that fox's lies. We let a perfectly good meal slip away. Suchi saw her bad mood and went to comfort her. Cheer up, Mama Bear. Trust my judgment. That fox will keep its promise. Humph. Mama Bear turned her back on him, still cross. Suchi relented. All right. I'll take you to find new food today. Eep. Really? Will it taste better than bamboo? The moment food was mentioned, Mama Bear's anger melted away at once. Her big round eyes stared at Suchi, full of eager anticipation. Absolutely. We'll also finish the last bits of work on my bamboo hut. Suchi ruffled the soft, fluffy fur on top of Mama Bear's head. Mama Bear's moods shifted as fast as a child's. One mention of food wiped all her unhappiness away. Yuan was still sound asleep inside the cave, so Suchi lifted the cub into his arms. This was Mama Bear's territory, but wild animals could still wander in, and Yuan would be defenseless if left alone. Mama Bear led the way through the trees, Suchi following close behind with Yuan tucked safely in his arms. Brother Rooster trotted alongside them, darting through the bushes to peck at bugs. Before long, Suchi spotted exactly what he'd been looking for, a banana plant. A short distance into the woods stood a tall green plant with broad, fan-shaped leaves. Its thick trunk rose high, crowned with wide, sturdy foliage swaying in the breeze like a stretch of emerald ocean. Suchi stood before it, grinning. Banana plants. I knew there'd be some growing in this forest. Eep. Leaves. Are they edible? Mama Bear looked utterly confused and stretched out a paw to grab a leaf for a taste. Suchi stopped her quickly. Don't eat the leaves, Mama Panda. I need them for something else. Eep. TCH. You're so stingy. Mama Bear's mood soured again. Suchi patted her head to soothe her. We don't eat the leaves of this plant. The tender inner stalk is the delicious part. Once I cut the leaves down, I'll peel the stalk and give you a taste. Mama Bear's eyes lit up instantly. Eep. I guess you aren't completely heartless. Dewdrops dotted the banana plant's leaves. Suchi ducked under the foliage and shook the branches. Splash. Countless clear crystal droplets streamed down the leaves. Mama Bear knelt beneath them, opening her mouth wide to drink her fill. Suchi gripped his machete and chopped clean through the stem. Crack! The massive leaf crashed down, landing square on top of Mama Bear as she tilted her head up to catch the water. Uft. Mama Bear shook her head hard and wriggled out from under the heavy leaf. Suchi repeated the motion, cutting down 7 more large banana leaves and stacking them neatly on the ground. The plant's trunk stood bare, stripped of its foliage. Suchi sliced off a young, tender stalk and peeled away its tough outer skin. Beneath lay pale, crisp inner flesh, pale and plump like fresh bamboo shoots. He took a bite. Juices burst across his tongue, sweet and fresh, a blend of raw cucumber and water chestnut flavors. The stalk flesh was tender, requiring almost no effort to chew. Eep. 2 legs, let me try that. It smells amazing. Mama Bear crowded close, drooling at the sight of Suchi. Suchi handed her the remaining large chunk, and she crammed it straight into her mouth. One bite, and her black eyes blew wide. Eep. This is incredible. I'll sneak more while the little cub is still asleep. Mama Bear sat on the ground clutching the stalk, gnawing away happily. Just like she ate bamboo. Suchi laughed and picked up the large purple flower bud at the base of the plant. The flower stamens were edible too, but there was barely enough to share, so he set it aside without offering any to Mama Bear. Yuan Yuan slumbered peacefully in Suchi's arms, its tiny nose twitching as if dreaming of tasty treats. Over in the live stream, viewers were overcome with envy. Whoa, you can eat banana plants? Watching a giant panda eat somehow made me starving. Why's Suchi picking the flower bud? Is that safe to eat? Won't it poison him? On the official national live stream, Professor Lee, a renowned wilderness survival expert, pushed up his glasses and spoke. In the wild, banana plants are an excellent source of carbohydrates. Both the inner stalk and flower buds are edible, packed with moisture and carbs, and they have a pleasant mild taste. What line of work was Suchi in before this? He knows so much about wild flora. The moment he finished speaking, a booming system announcement echoed across the country. Congratulations to Longwa contestant Suchi for discovering one wild banana plant. 10,000-fold reward triggered. 10,000 wild banana plants have been randomly distributed across Longwa territory. In the next instant, a lush banana plant sprouted from the soil in a neglected city garden. Another full, leafy banana tree shot up in a residential complex's greenbelt, swaying in the wind. The whole nation erupted in excitement. A banana tree just popped up in my neighborhood. Can we eat the stalks? I want to try some. The government just released a notice. Banana plants are critical to restoring our damaged ecosystem. That's the right call. We overharvested for too long, driving countless species to extinction. It's time to protect our wild plants. Banana plants spread fast. In a few years, we'll all be able to harvest the tender stalks safely. Back out in the wilderness beneath the bare banana trunk, Suchi glanced at the notification flashing on his wristwatch and paid it little mind. He planned to coax Mama Bear into helping him haul the pile of banana leaves back to the hut. As he turned to leave, something growing thickly around the base of the tree caught his eye. They clustered together, packed tight across the dirt. Suchi knelt down, and when he saw what they were, his breath hitched. These are morel mushrooms. He plucked one and held it up to examine it closely. Its pale brown cap was covered in honeycomb pits, the signature mark of a morel. There's no mistaking it, genuine wild morels. Suchi's voice trembled with excitement. He scanned the ground. Morels ringed the entire base of the banana plant, hundreds of them packed together. A quick rough count put their number at well over 100. He'd struck gold. Suchi couldn't wipe the huge grin off his face. Mama Bear noticed Suchi's excitement and wandered over to investigate. She dug a morel out of the dirt with her paw and popped it straight into her mouth. Eep! Mama Bear chirped in delight. Tastes just like meat. Mama Bear lowered her head and began gobbling the morels one after another like an all-you-can-eat buffet. The live stream viewers were stunned. Are those morels? Unbelievable. How does Suchi have such incredible luck finding wild morels? Even before the catastrophe, morels were an expensive delicacy, wild ones especially. Other contestants starve all day out here, and Suchi's out restocking supplies nonstop. Suchi scrambled to rescue a handful of morels from Mama Bear before she devoured them all. The rest vanished down her throat. Eep! Yuan Yuan caught the rich mushroom scent even in its sleep, nestled in Suchi's arms, and opened its mouth instinctively. Nip! It swallowed a morel whole, still unsatisfied, and snapped at several more. Even fast asleep, the cub could zero in on the mushrooms by smell alone. Suchi watched the sleeping cub sneak food and felt a mix of amusement and helplessness. I barely saved these from your mother, and you're stealing them too. At that moment, the National Game System voice boomed once more. Congratulations to Longwa contestant Suchi for gathering 89 wild morel mushrooms. 10,000-fold reward triggered. 480,000 morel mushrooms have been randomly distributed across Longwa territory. In an instant, hillsides and woodlands all over the country sprouted countless small morel caps pushing up through the soil. Wow! Suchi is unstoppable, another massive reward. I just found a handful of morels growing on my balcony. Tonight we're cooking them. Foreign viewers seethed with jealousy. It's always Suchi. He got wild peach trees, banana plants, and now tens of thousands of morels. What's so great about that? Our contestant Hitoshi has found mushrooms too. Elsewhere in the wilderness forest, the Sakuraguni contestant Hitoshi knelt beside a cluster of purple mushrooms. His stomach rumbled loudly. Crippling hunger drove him to desperation. He grabbed the mushrooms and bit into them. A few mouthfuls settled his gnawing hunger, but only for a moment. Seconds later, Tiny phantom figures swirled all around his vision, waving and calling to him. Convinced he was trapped in an illusion, Hitoshi flailed his arms and danced wildly in place. Get away. I'll beat you all. Over in Sakuraguni's live stream, viewers watched in confusion. What's wrong with Hitoshi? Why is he dancing like a fool? Wake up at once. Longwa viewers flooded the comments with explanations. Fun fact, brightly colored mushrooms are almost always highly toxic. There's an old saying, red cap, white stem, eat them and meet your end. Haha, they said our morels were nothing special. Look who's laughing now. Whether luck or misfortune, the game system announcement echoed out again. Congratulations to Sakuraguni contestant Hitoshi for gathering wild toxic mushrooms. 10,000-fold reward triggered. 10,000 toxic hallucinogenic mushrooms have been randomly distributed across Sakuraguni territory. This mushroom induces powerful hallucinations. Large doses can be fatal. Citizens are advised to avoid consumption. As the announcement ended, countless purple-capped toxic mushrooms burst through the soil across Sakuraguni's land. Widespread outrage erupted nationwide. Useless fool. Why send us thousands of poisonous mushrooms we can't eat? Is he trying to get all of us killed? Why can't you be like Su Chi from Longwa? All his rewards are safe, edible ingredients, even rare morels. Back at the cave clearing in the wilderness, Su Chi enlisted mama bears helped to haul 8 large banana leaves back to camp. He trimmed the leaves neatly and laid them across the frame of his bamboo hut. He weighted the edges down with stones and stuffed dry grass into every crack to seal gaps. A fully functional wilderness bamboo hut, large enough for one adult human, stood complete. Su Chi had built a curved arched frame from bamboo poles atop the structure. With the waterproof banana leaves layered over the curve, rainwater would slide down the sloped surface without leaking inside. Boom! Thunder cracked overhead, and a torrential downpour began pouring from the sky. Su Chi hurried inside the hut to test its waterproofing. Rain hammered against the banana leaf roof with a loud pattering sound. 10 minutes passed. Half an hour. 2 full hours later, the storm cleared, and not a single drop had seeped into the hut. Every stream of rain slid smoothly down the curved leaf surface and dripped onto the ground outside. Watching the hut withstand the heavy rain on stream, Professor Lee nodded approvingly. It's a simple structure, but it checks every box for survival shelter. It's waterproof, well-ventilated, built on high ground backed by a large tree, and crucially, it sits right next to a giant panda's den. Most wild animals won't dare draw near. Host Bingbing looked equally amazed. I thought building a proper hut would take days, but Su Chi finished it in just 2. He's the first contestant from any nation to complete a permanent shelter this fast. The camera cut to other competitors. The luckiest had only found caves to huddle in for warmth. Most still wandered without any shelter at all. A single heavy rain left them soaked to the bone. Su Chi's campsite was a stark contrast. He had a solid bamboo hut, a giant wild panda acting as his guard, and a chicken nesting nearby that laid fresh eggs every day. This wasn't survival, it was a wilderness retreat. After the rain, the air smelled fresh and damp. Su Chi stepped out of the hut just as Mama Bear emerged from the cave. Eep, this 2 legs is clever enough to build himself a shelter. Someday I'll make him build me a bamboo den too, so I can snack on bamboo whenever I want. Su Chi's mouth twitched hearing Mama Bear's inner thoughts. He swore he would never build a bamboo hut for her. It would need to be massive to fit an adult giant panda, and worst of all, she'd probably chew it to splinters within a day. All that work would be for nothing. The rain cleared to reveal countless tiny water droplets hanging suspended in the air. Su Chi gazed toward the treetops, where a giant rainbow stretched hundreds of meters across the forest sky. A light breeze stirred the green foliage beneath the rainbow arch, turning the woods into a fairy tale. Su Chi admired the view for a while before his thoughts drifted back to the little fox he'd released that morning. Hours had passed, and it still hadn't returned. Su Chi frowned. Had the fox tricked him after all? Just then, rustling noises echoed from the bushes. Su Chi turned his gaze toward the sound. A wet fox's head poked out from the underbrush. Su Chi blinked in surprise. It was the little egg-stealing fox from earlier. It had come back much sooner than he expected. Its rust-red fur clung flat to its body, soaked through from the rain, making it look like a drenched house cat. It clutched an egg clamped between its jaws, the offering it had brought to repay Su Chi. Spotting Su Chi, the fox trotted forward and set the egg down at his feet. Squeak, 2 legs. I hunted this egg for you through the pouring rain. 1 egg to settle the debt. Now I owe you nothing. It shook its whole body hard to shed rainwater, oozing pride. Su Chi got splashed all over the face with droplets, staring at the fox flatly. He wiped the water off his cheeks and bent to pick up the egg, genuinely surprised. I didn't think you'd actually keep your word and come back so soon. The egg was enormous, far bigger than any laid by Brother Rooster. Its pale gray shell was wrinkled and slightly sticky to the touch. What animal's egg is this? Suchi hefted the egg in his hands and turned to ask, where did you find it? The little red fox puffed out her chest proudly, grinning widely. I snuck it right out of the woods, of course. See how big it is. I grabbed this huge egg in just one morning, more than enough food for you. Suchi curled his lips, silently complaining to himself that she was actually proud of stealing something. Mama Panda wandered over at some point, sniffed the egg closely, and let out a disgusted whine. Eep, it reeks. This is a snake egg. A snake egg. Suchi froze and frowned at the fox. You snuck into a snake den to steal eggs? The fox grew even cockier, lifting her chin high. Snake dens are nothing. I'd dare sneak into a tiger den too. Her words barely faded when a soft rustling came from the nearby bushes. A pair of cold, emotionless vertical pupils glowed slowly out of the dark forest shadows. It was a massive king cobra, over 2 meters long, its scales shimmering with a metallic cold sheen, radiating overwhelming menace. When it spotted the snake egg in Suchi's grasp, the hood around its neck suddenly inflated fully, shifting into a defensive stance. It flickered its thin tongue nonstop, letting out low, threatening hissing warnings. Locked in the gaze of those icy, bloodthirsty slitted eyes, a cold chill shot down Suchi's spine, leaving him freezing all over. He glanced down at the egg in his hands, then back at the poised, ready to strike serpent, instantly piecing together what had happened. A ridiculous yet undeniable thought crossed his mind. This egg belonged to the king cobra before him. Suchi turned to question the troublemaking fox, only to find the space beside him empty. He scanned his surroundings and finally spotted a flash of red foxtail sticking out of the grass behind him. I told you to make it up to me, and this is how you repay me? Suchi sighed helplessly. Squeak. Right. 1 egg for 1 egg to repay your kindness. That's totally reasonable. Suchi was utterly speechless, itching to drag the mischievous fox out for a proper scolding. You could repay me without luring a king cobra over. Now it thinks I stole its baby. At that moment, the king cobra raised the front half of its body, its cold slitted eyes fixed unblinkingly on Suchi. Killing intent clear. Suchi swallowed hard, fine beads of sweat covering his forehead, his whole body tense to the breaking point. Inside the official live stream room, Professor Lee stared in shock, speaking rapidly. This egg is actually a king cobra's clutch? This is terrible. King cobras have an extremely sharp sense of smell, able to track anyone who steals their eggs for dozens of kilometers. It's fully enraged at Suchi now, in extreme danger and ready to deliver a fatal strike at any second. Bingbing's face turned ashen, warning anxiously. The king cobra is the ruler of all snakes. Its venom strong enough to take down a full-grown elephant. Run, Suchi. Let's hope this deadly serpent won't chase after you relentlessly. Every viewer watching the live stream held their breath, bullet comments scrolling non-stop, the atmosphere unbearably tense. Whoa, the king cobra came straight to get revenge. She's gotten him into massive trouble. Suchi, I wanted a kind repayment, not a venomous snake delivered to my door. Little fox, I delivered the egg. Whether the repayment works or not isn't my problem. Quit joking. This is a lethal snake. A single bite means no survival. This fox is unbelievably bold, daring to steal king cobra eggs. She's completely reckless. Suchi is so unlucky, dragged into disaster by his own little fox. Tension hung thick over the wilderness clearing, the king cobra's patience worn thin, its body twisting rapidly against the ground. Panic welled up in Suchi as he slowly bent down, gently setting the snake egg on the ground to calm the situation. Haha, it's all a misunderstanding, pure accident. I had no idea this was your baby. Take your egg back. Let's forget this whole thing and leave each other in peace, okay? Before he could finish speaking, the enraged king cobra lunged forward in a lightning-fast strike towards Suchi. Its silver-black body moved faster than thunder, closing the distance in the blink of an eye, too quick for the human eye to follow. Sharp fangs snapped out, glinting with frigid light, aiming straight for Suchi's ankle. Bingbing's heart skipped a beat, clapping her hands over her eyes, unable to watch the terrifying scene unfold. Professor Lee's palms sweated, his voice shaky with alarm. It's over. Suchi is trapped in a deadly predicament. A sharp whoosh cut through the air, the king cobra already reaching Suchi's feet, its fatal blow inches away. Suchi only had time to lift his right foot, unable to pull off any full evasive maneuver. His heart sank to the pit of his stomach. There was no anti-venom or rescue out in the wild. A king cobra bite meant certain death. At the critical split second, a black and white figure charged forward, far swifter than the furious serpent. The bulky yet lightning-fast shadow crashed down with immense force, aiming straight for the king cobra's head. It was Mama Panda. She intercepted the snake's deadly attack and saved Suchi's life. The violent collision slammed the speeding king cobra to an abrupt halt. Heavy, powerful paws pressed firmly down on the snake's head, pinning the entire serpent deep into the dirt. Hiss! The king cobra thrashed wildly, straining every muscle to break free from the panda's grip. Mama Panda gave it no chance to resist. One paw holding its head tight, the other clutching its tail. She tilted her head wide open and swallowed the full 2-meter king cobra whole, just like crunching a strip of jerky. After finishing the snake, Mama Panda patted her round belly contentedly and let out a soft whine. The two-legged human was right. Glad I didn't eat the little fox, or I'd miss this tasty jerky snack. Standing beside her, Suchi stood frozen with his mouth agape, his mind completely blank from shock. The deadly 2-meter king cobra, ruler of all serpents, had just been eaten raw by a giant panda? This ferocious strength and brutal way of eating completely shattered everyone's understanding. Mama Panda didn't seem full yet, turning her gaze to the leftover snake egg, and glancing back at Suchi. Eep, you don't want this snake egg? If not, I'll eat all of it. Suchi still hadn't recovered from the shock, and shook his head blankly on instinct. Given permission, Mama Panda opened her mouth and swallowed the snake egg entirely as well. Back in the official live stream, Bing Bing covered her mouth, utterly stunned beyond belief. She swallowed that huge venomous king cobra in just a few bites? This is absolutely unbelievable. Professor Lee wiped his glasses, his mind churning with shock, unable to calm down. He'd worked in this field for decades and had never seen a wild giant panda devour a deadly king cobra alive. Though giant pandas feed primarily on bamboo, they are omnivores, and occasionally hunting small creatures is normal. The bullet comments exploded across the screen, countless viewers flooding the stream with amazed jokes, sending viewership soaring. Small creatures? You call a 2-meter venomous king cobra a small creature? The professor sure knows how to downplay it. Mama Panda is a legend. A last-minute save, snatching Suchi right out of the snake's jaws. This is the king of all snakes. Turned into jerky in one bite. The power gap is ridiculous. King Cobra, I think I could still fight. Give me one chance to turn the tide. Mama Panda, what Snake King? Just a snack strip for my meal. The wilderness crisis fully passed. Suchi truly felt as though he'd walked right up to the gates of death. His shirt clung to his back, soaked through with cold sweat, the lingering dread still heavy in his bones. Mama Panda licked the residue off her mouth, squinting her eyes to savor the meal, thoroughly satisfied. Suchi reached out and rubbed her fluffy head, filled with gratitude. Great job, Mama Panda. I really owe you my life for stepping in back there. I would have been done for without you. Eep, it's nothing. Bring me more jerky snacks next time you find them. Mama Panda let out a proud huff, turning to the corner to slowly munch on bamboo once more. Suchi looked around and quickly found the troublemaking little fox hiding in the grass. He lifted the fox by the scruff of its neck, dark-faced, equal parts angry and helpless. I asked you to make amends, but all you've done is bring disaster and danger to me. You already ate my wild egg, and now you steal snake eggs to lure a venomous snake to kill me. How reckless can you be? The fox's forepaws dangled in midair, twisting and wriggling nonstop, unable to break free from Suchi's grip. After struggling to no avail, it simply went limp, letting out sad squeaks of grievance. How was I supposed to know that Snake had such a sharp nose, able to track us from miles away? And that black and white bear enjoyed it so much. I truly thought I was bringing you a proper gift. Gift my foot. Suchi scolded her sharply. I didn't get a single bite. Mama Panda ate everything. The live stream viewers laughed uncontrollably, the screen flooded with rolling comments, the mood light and cheerful. Ha ha, the little fox is the ultimate bad teammate, nearly getting her owner killed. Suchi, I wanted a warm token of thanks, not a deadly life-threatening disaster. Mama Panda is perfectly happy. The fox's repayment was a direct feast for her. After a thorough scolding, the fox drooped her ears, finally recognizing her mistake. Suchi waved his hand, telling her to go rest somewhere quiet and stop stirring up trouble. But the fox was stubborn, determined to keep making amends for her error. Squeak, wait for me. I'll find you far better treasures tomorrow. Suchi sighed deeply, rubbing her round little head, worn out from the chaos. Really? Don't go dragging venomous snakes or other dangerous creatures back here again this time. The fox patted her tiny chest, swearing faithfully that whatever she brought would be a wonderful find. Fine, you can bring anything else, just don't steal snake eggs ever again. Squeak. Mission accepted. I won't mess this up at all. The fox nodded once, a flash of red vanishing instantly into the thick, shadowed woods. Before leaving, she noticed Suchi holding the baby giant panda Yuan Yuan close to his chest the entire time. The fox made up her mind that the two-legged human must adore baby wild animals deeply. She resolved to capture a cub of the forest's most powerful beast to bring back as repayment next time. Suchi watched her retreating figure, an unexplained sense of unease rising in his heart. That mischievous little fox would almost certainly stir up another huge mess for him. Oh well, if something bad happens, the overwhelmingly powerful mama panda will have my back, Suchi comforted himself silently. 2 hours later, in a quiet, secluded corner of the forest, birdsong and insect chirps were faint. The air calm and still. A flash of red darted through the bushes, the little fox creeping cautiously in hiding. Her round eyes locked forward, fixed on a colossal beast that ruled the woods. Smooth golden gradient fur covered its body, a bold king marking etched on its forehead. Amber vertical pupils cold and piercing. It was an adult tiger, gently licking the cubs inside its den as it patrolled its territory carefully. Satisfied the area was safe, Mother Tiger turned and stepped off to hunt for food. Only once the tiger was far out of sight did the fox creep quietly out of the bushes. She trotted quickly to the tiger's den, staring at the newly born, curious cub barely a month old. A hint of smugness crossed the fox's eyes as she thought to herself. Snake eggs were far too plain for repayment. To make a proper gift, I'll bring the cub of the forest king. Such a precious offering. The two-legged human will definitely love it. She gently clamped her jaws around the tiger cub's scruff, ignoring its weak squirming and whimpers. The red figure darted away with the cub, vanishing deep within the layered, dense woods. Half an hour later, Mother Tiger returned from hunting to find her den empty, her cub nowhere to be seen. Roar. A thunderous, volcanic roar of unbridled rage echoed across every inch of the forest. The next early morning, Suchi woke at dawn, stepping out of his bamboo hut and stretching lazily. Rain had fallen all through the previous night, the forest air fresh, damp, and pleasant after the storm. Cluck-a-doodle-doo. Cluck-a-doodle-doo. The rooster's loud, clear crow echoed from the chicken coop nearby, bright and lively. It looks like you laid a new egg, Suchi hurried over to check. Resting in the straw of the simple coop was a smooth, round wild egg still warm to the touch. Suchi picked it up, the gentle warmth seeping into his palm. Great work, rooster. Suchi offered genuine praise for once. The rooster puffed out its feathers and flapped its wings proudly, like a victorious general. However, only 1 egg per day was not quite enough to fill Suchi's stomach. He planned to feed the rooster extra nourishment later, hoping it could lay 2 eggs daily. Suchi built a small fire, burying the egg in the embers, then threaded the morel mushrooms he'd gathered onto skewers. The mushrooms slowly roasted, their unique rich aroma drifting through the air in no time. Just as the food was nearly ready, thin fine rain began to fall from the sky once more. Suchi wrapped the baked egg in mushrooms and banana leaves and headed back into his dry bamboo hut. The warm, fragrant food filled the entire hut, a rich, savory scent washing over him. He peeled away the shell, tender white egg surrounding golden yolk, heavy with roasted smoky flavor. One bite revealed the roasted wild egg's smooth, tender texture and wonderful charred taste. Compared to farm chicken eggs, wild eggs carried a deeper, richer natural aroma. He took a bite of roasted morel next, the soft mushroom melting on his tongue, bursting with umami. The smoky roast flavor blended with the morel's distinct nutty sweetness, creating layers of incredible taste. The live-stream viewers stared at the mouth-watering food footage, their mouths watering non-stop. Ugh, why did I open this live stream first thing in the morning? I'm starving now. These roasted morels smell incredible. What an amazing wilderness cooking trick. Other contestants go 3 days with barely anything to eat. While Suchi feasts on rare delicacies, the gap is staggering. The camera cut away, heavy rain pouring over the entire wilderness, the harsh outdoor conditions brutal. Yamamoto, the contestant from Sakura Nation, huddled beneath a large tree, soaked to the bone, looking utterly miserable. Baka, I've gone 3 full days without food. No proper shelter either. This place is unlivable. The live stream for Sakura Nation filled with angry jeers and mockery, viewers furious with Yamamoto. Useless fool. Look at Suchi from Long Nation with a bamboo hut and delicious meals, while you stand soaking and starving. We're both contestants. How can the gap be this massive? You're a total embarrassment. Can't you try harder? You're completely worthless. Inside another cave, Bob, the contestant from Lighthouse Nation, curled up in the corner, gnawing bark to survive. Damn it. I have to find food once the rain stops, or I'll starve to death in here. Viewers from Lighthouse Nation seethed with frustration, complaining endlessly about their unaccomplished contestant. He's so useless. If you starve, our whole nation loses resource supplies sent back home. Go hunt for food right away. Learn from Suchi, who sends food resources back every single day. He can't even build a bamboo hut, living in a cave like a primitive human. How shameful. Viewers from Long Nation joked lighthearted in the comments. Don't get your hopes up. No one can copy Suchi's luck and skills. Plus, he's got Mama Panda to help him cut bamboo. No one has that top-tier support. Through the torrential rain, every contestant struggled miserably, complaining constantly about their hardships. Only Suchi stayed comfortably inside his handmade bamboo hut, dry and sheltered from all wind and rain. He savored roasted wild egg and savory grilled mushrooms, enjoying a relaxed, pleasant day. He'd barely finished eating when a wet, round head poked in through the hut doorway. Eep! What smells so good? Are you hiding tasty food from me again? Mama Panda rested both paws on the threshold, her round big eyes fixed firmly on the skewers. Two-legged human, give me one bite to taste. I want some too. Driven by hunger, Mama Panda was ready to push her way inside to beg for food. Suchi stood up quickly, blocking the bulky panda from stepping across the door frame. Mama Panda, this bamboo hut wasn't built to hold your weight. Don't come inside. If you step in, the whole hut will likely collapse. What do you mean? Are you saying I'm too heavy and you don't want me here? Mama Panda instantly puffed out her round cheeks, hurt and annoyed. No, that's not what I meant at all. Suchi hurried to explain himself. Seeing her still staring at the skewers, drooling heavily, Suchi felt helpless. You ate most of the morels yesterday. There's barely any left today. Are you still going to fight me over what little remains? Eep. Everything smells so good when you roast it. I don't care, I want to taste. Mama Panda dropped down to the ground in front of Suchi, wrapping her paws around his leg and begging pitifully. Clear saliva hung from her mouth as she stared up at him with wide, pleading eyes, looking adorable. She silently regretted eating so much the day before. Saving them to roast would have tasted far better. Suchi couldn't resist her pleading and finally relented. Fine, I'll roast all the rest for you. Humph, at least you have some decency left. Mama Panda immediately let go of his leg, sitting obediently beside the fire pit and licking her paws as she waited for food. The light rain had fully stopped by now, the previous fire pit soaked through by rainwater and unusable. Luckily, Suchi had stockpiled plenty of dry firewood earlier, perfect for cooking the mushrooms. He found a dry patch near the cave entrance and stacked dry branches to make a simple fire pit. He stuffed fine dry grass into the center of the wood pile and struck his flint stones together. A shower of tiny sparks ignited the grass, thin wispy smoke rising upward. Bright flames soon flickered to life, the fire chasing away the damp chill in the surrounding air. Yuan, the baby panda, flinched at the dancing flames, tucking her small head into Suchi's chest. Curious yet frightened of the fire, she looked out shyly. Mama Panda also feared fire by nature, but her craving for food gave her the courage to sit beside the flames. Don't be scared. This is fire. It's safe and won't hurt either of you. Suchi soothed them gently. Wild animals almost all have an innate fear of fire. Suchi took out the leftover morels, threading each one onto bamboo skewers and holding them over the flames to roast. He twisted the skewers skillfully back and forth, acting like a professional wilderness grill master. Mama Panda's eyes locked onto the food, flames reflecting in her pupils. The fire crackled and popped, the warm, heartwarming scene soothing countless viewers watching the stream. Mama Panda is so well-behaved, waiting for food just like a pet dog at dinner time. One human and two pandas sitting around the fire grilling food. Such a comforting sight. There's a tiny baby panda peeking out from his arms, utterly adorable. After a short while, the morels finished roasting, their rich savory aroma filling the entire space once more. The tempting scent made Mama Panda's saliva flow non-stop, her patience wearing thin. Eep, I can't wait any longer. Let me taste this delicious food right now. Mama Panda stretched out her paw without hesitation, reaching to grab the hot skewers directly. A sudden gust of wind swept by, sending the fire's flames surging tall and swaying wildly. The leaping fire brushed straight across Mama Panda's paw, singeing the fine fur covering it. Whoosh! The sharp heat stung her, and Mama Panda pulled her paw back in a flash. She stared down at the slightly charred fur, a faint burnt odor drifting through the air. Eep! Mama Panda looked up at Suchi with watery, sorrowful eyes, carefully licking her injured paw. Watching her sad, pitiful expression, Suchi barely held back a laugh. Stupid two-legged creature, how dare you mock me? Suchi, who heard Mother Bear's inner thoughts, replayed the most miserable moments of his life several times before barely holding back his emotions. In the live stream, the audience was amused by the silly Mother Bear. But Mother Bear is such a glutton. Now look what happened. She didn't get roasted morel mushrooms, and almost got her paws singed instead. The wrong look in Mother Bear's eyes is killing me, Mother Bear, wasn't roasted morel supposed to be the main dish today? Ahem. Suchi held out several skewers of roasted morels. Mother Bear, they're done. Have a taste. At the mention of food, all the grievance vanished from Mother Bear's face. That's more like it. Fine, I'll forgive this two-legged creature this time. Mother Bear hastily copied Suchi's movements, held the skewer sideways between her jaws, and shook her head back and forth to sweep all the morels off the bamboo stick. Een. Delicious. Way better than raw. Rich, savory flavors spread across her mouth. She finished an entire skewer in one bite, clearing all the food in seconds. Een. More. Suchi felt a headache coming on. I spent 5 minutes roasting these, and you polished them off in 5 seconds? Mother Bear shifted her weight, buried her head in Suchi's arms, and acted coquettishly. Een. I want more. Roast more fragrant mushrooms. Roast them yourself. Suchi wouldn't cave to her antics. Look, the morels on the ground are already strung up on skewers. Mother Bear glanced at the morels, then at the flickering flames ahead. Images of her singed paws from earlier flashed through her mind. In the end, her fear of fire outweighed her craving for food. She swallowed hard and shook her head firmly. Never mind. Good things come to those who wait. In the official live broadcast room, Bing Bing was utterly melted by the coquettish Mother Bear. Good heavens. Mother Bear can actually act cute to get what she wants. She's so adorable. Professor Lee looked utterly shocked. Wild giant pandas acting affectionate toward humans. This is unheard of. How did Suchi manage this? Even captive giant pandas rarely grow this docile and obedient. The live stream viewers were equally stunned. Am I seeing this right? A fully grown wild giant panda being clingy with a human? Mother Bear. Bearkind will never submit, unless there's free food and shelter. Poor Mother Bear, putting up with all this just for a bite to eat. Suchi's roasted morels look incredible. I'd let him pet me all he wants if I could have a taste. 5 minutes later, another batch of roasted morels was ready. Suchi made extra skewers this time, setting some aside for Yuan Yuan as well. The cub poked its fluffy head out of Suchi's embrace and lunged to bite the skewer straight away. Ow! Suchi snatched the skewer back at once. If the cub had sunk its teeth down, it would have pierced its mouth long before tasting the mushrooms. Een. Confusion washed over Yuan Yuan's round head when it bit nothing but air. Where'd the huge skewer go? I'm roasting morels, not bamboo sticks. Suchi sighed helplessly. Are you out of your mind? You wanted to eat the skewer too. Though I guess it makes sense, giant pandas naturally eat bamboo. Ugh, fine, I'll scrape the mushrooms off for you. Suchi felt worn out. Did he really have to hand feed every single bite? These two giant pandas, one big, one small, were nothing but trouble. Still, when he saw the blissful grin on Yuan Yuan's face after eating, Suchi thought all the hassle was worth it. After all, who could resist a 1-month-old panda cub? Watching Yuan Yuan try to chomp down on the bamboo skewer, the live stream audience burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, how can Yuan Yuan be this silly? Yuan Yuan, I'm a dignified giant panda. Eating bamboo is only natural. Thank goodness Suchi reacted fast. Those sharp sticks would have torn its mouth open otherwise. Soon, every last bit of morel was gone. Mother Bear ate most of them, with Yuan Yuan and Suchi finishing the rest. Mother Bear was still unsatisfied and even tried to gnaw on the bamboo skewers, which Suchi stopped her from doing. After all, he'd carved every single skewer with his machete by hand. If she ate them, what would he use to string food later? By the time they finished eating, it was nearly late afternoon. He was about to head into the woods to fetch some drinking water when rustling noises came from the nearby bushes. A fluffy, rust-red fox head poked out, a squirming baby animal clamped in its jaws. Spotting Suchi, the little fox trotted over quickly. Little fox? You came back this fast. Suchi was startled to see the fox. Only one night had passed. The fox's efficiency was off the charts. Thud! The fox let go and dropped its prey on the ground. Squeak, squeak. Two-legged creature. I risked my life to bring you this trophy. The fox puffed out its chest proudly. Squeak, squeak. Take a look. Do you like it? Suchi stared down at the creature on the ground, his frown deepening the longer he looked. pale golden fur marked with faint black stripes across its forehead that formed a faint, king character. Short, stocky limbs covered in dark stripes all over its body. Suchi drew a sharp breath and stepped backward, his heart skipping a beat. The creature looked exactly like a tiger cub. In the live stream, a viewer who specialized in zoology recognized the young animal. I used to be a zoology professor. Judging by the cub's markings and appearance, this is a newborn tiger cub. A tiger cub? Where did the fox steal it from? Obviously a tiger den. I wonder how the fox snuck past the mother tiger to snatch this baby. Whoa, this fox is a loyal friend. It truly repays kindness with great effort. Is this repayment or just asking for trouble? The mother tiger is probably on her way here right now. So what? We've got Mother Bear to back us up. Mother Bear, do you hear what you're saying? You want me to fight a full-grown tiger one-on-one? Ha ha ha, we're doomed. I can't wait to see Suchi's reaction. In front of the cave, Suchi lifted the tiger cub by the scruff of its neck and examined it thoroughly from head to toe. By the end of his inspection, his heart sank completely. There was no mistaking it. This was a brand new 1-month-old tiger cub. Worse still, it belonged to the largest, fiercest tiger subspecies. The Siberian tiger, also known as the Amur tiger, nicknamed Golden Gradient for its thick, golden coat. Suchi stiffened instantly, his eyes locked firmly on the fox. Wait a minute. I told you to find me some food to make up for the eggs you stole, and you bring back this. The fox puffed out its chest again. Squeak, squeak. Yep, a tiger cub. Isn't it impressive? When it grows up, it'll be the king of the forest. Why don't you raise it? Then you'll have free reign over these woods. Suchi smacked his forehead, overcome with despair. Had this fox lost its mind? First a king cobra, now a tiger? All the strangest creatures imaginable. I told you specifically not to bring weird animals back. Why do you keep dragging these troublesome things here? The fox held up its paws innocently. Squeak, squeak. You said no eggs, and I didn't bring any eggs this time. So instead, you bring me a tiger cub? Suchi was completely speechless. Where did you even find it? A proud grin spread across the fox's face. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I waited beside the tiger den for half a day until the mother tiger left the cave. Took the chance to sneak in and steal the cub. Aren't I amazing? Amazing my foot. Suchi wanted nothing more than to dump this hot potato. Did you ever stop to think what would happen if the mother tiger tracks us down? The fox froze for a second, then patted its chest confidently. Squeak, squeak. If she chases us, that's none of my business. I gave the cub to you, so she'll come after you instead of me if she's mad. Suchi's mouth twitched. How could it say something so selfish? It stole the cub and washed its hands of the trouble, leaving Suchi to face all the consequences alone. Bing Bing laughed uncontrollably. Ha ha, this fox is fearless. It dared break into a tiger's den and even kidnap the cub. Professor Lee, are wild foxes normally this bold? Professor Lee shook his head, equally astounded. Ordinary wild foxes only dare steal bird or chicken eggs at most. They'd never dare step foot near a tiger's territory, let alone snatch a tiger cub. This fox must have an abnormally high risk tolerance to pull off something like this. I just hope the mother tiger doesn't show up anytime soon. Even Mother Bear might not be able to protect Suchi then. Suchi lectured the fox for a while, but the creature took his words as praise. It showed no remorse whatsoever, only glowing with pride. He glanced down at the ground. The tiger cub was curiously observing its surroundings, sniffing the air with its tiny nose and clumsily patting around on its stubby limbs. When Yuan spotted the tiger cub, it grew wildly excited. It jumped straight out of Suchi's arms and trotted over to the cub. Een, little tiger? Mrel, little bear? The tiger cub let out a confused sound. Hearing the cub's call, Suchi felt utterly defeated. Tigers didn't make noises like that. Yuan rubbed against the cub, gesturing for it to follow. The tiger cub stumbled after it into the cave. Scattered crumbs of roasted morel littered the cave floor. Yuan picked up the largest piece and dropped it in front of the cub. Een, try this. It's delicious. The tiger cub lowered its head, sniffed the food, and took a big bite. Morel, so fragrant. After tasting the delicious mushrooms, the tiger cub fully trusted Yuan. The two young creatures darted back and forth across the cave, quickly becoming inseparable playmates. Suchi watched the frolicking cubs, his head throbbing with worry. The scene looked warm and peaceful now, but once the mother tiger realized her cub had been abducted, all hell would break loose. Little fox, take this cub back right now. The fox shook its head vigorously. Squeak, squeak. Trade one thing for another. I stole your eggs, so I gave you a tiger cub to make up for it. We're even now? Why should I keep running errands for you? A vein bulged on Suchi's forehead, and he nearly laughed out of frustration. You call this an even trade? Return this little one immediately. I won't sleep a wink tonight worrying the mother tiger will catch our scent and come charging over. No matter how much Su Chi pleaded, the fox refused to budge. With no other choice, Su Chi walked over to Mother Bear. Mother Bear, if the mother tiger comes, can you fight her off? Mother Bear had been squatting on the ground munching bamboo. At his question, she waved her paws confidently. Ineen, leave it to me. Su Chi rubbed her round fluffy head, feeling a little relieved. Wild giant pandas possessed formidable strength. Perhaps the tiger would think twice before attacking. The thought had barely crossed his mind when the ground began to shake violently. Boom, boom. A large creature was barreling toward their location at top speed. Mother Bear abandoned her bamboo, her expression hardening as she stared out toward the distant forest. The rooster and little fox scurried deep into the cave, too terrified to peek out. Su Chi gripped his machete tight, his gaze fixed unwaveringly on the treeling. The rumbling grew louder, and it was clear the beast's target was the cave. Crash! Bushes were torn apart by a massive predator, and a towering, imposing adult Siberian tiger stepped into view. Bold dark stripes etched across its forehead formed a perfect king character. Mountainous muscle rippled beneath its fur, holding terrifying explosive power. Silence crashed over the clearing. The overwhelming aura of the forest king hung thick in the air, and the atmosphere turned icy cold. Su Chi's pupils constricted. The tiger was far larger than he'd imagined. It stood 1.5 meters tall at the shoulder and stretched an astonishing 3 meters from nose to tail tip. He glanced at Mother Bear, who instantly stood upright, and stepped between Su Chi and the intruding tiger. The bear and tiger faced each other down, poised to erupt into a brutal battle at any second. In the official live stream room, Professor Li's palms grew sweaty with anxiety. Ugh, this is bad. Mother Bear and the tiger are locked in a standoff. We're in serious trouble. Bingbing's face paled with fright. Professor, can a wild giant panda beat a tiger? The professor shook his head. It's hard to say, tigers hold a slight advantage in combat prowess, but a giant panda can still inflict severe wounds, even life-threatening ones on the tiger. Even if the tiger wins, it will leave with severe injuries that will cripple its chances of surviving in the wild afterward. Let's hope this tiger weighs the consequences before striking. The livestream viewers all held their breath. Whoa, a battle between a Siberian tiger and a wild giant panda? This fight is legendary. I never thought I'd live to see these two animals fight. Who do you think will win? I'm putting my money on the tiger. It's the undisputed king of the woods. Quit speculating. I'm on the edge of my seat. Could Mother Bear get killed by this tiger? Does anyone care about Su Chi's life over here? Back out in the wilderness, the tension was palpable. Mro! A sudden tiger cub's cry cut through the heavy silence. At the familiar sound, the mother tiger tilted her massive head. A tiny tiger cub came trotting past, chasing the black and white panda cub. The mother tiger froze, cold vertical pupils widening in shock. What was that black and white ball of fur? It looked like a giant panda cub. Still, relief washed over her the moment she saw her baby unharmed. Just then, Yuan sprinted towards Su Chi. It grabbed the hem of his trousers with its paws and rubbed its round head against the fabric, seeking comfort. Ineen, the tiger cub is teasing me. The tiger cub copied Yuan's actions, resting its small padded paws on Su Chi's pant leg, and nuzzling back and forth. Mro, two-legged human, help me. Su Chi stood rigid, unsure whether to step back or reach out. He met the mother tiger's gaze, which sent a clear warning. Harm one hair on her cub, and you pay with your life. Wait, Yuan, what are you doing? Can't you see its mother's right there? This is no time to act clingy. Su Chi was on the verge of tears. Stop drawing all the aggression straight toward me. Now the mother tiger had completely forgotten Mother Bear. Her full attention locked solely on Su Chi. Yuan paid no mind, rubbing clumps of fur all over Su Chi's trousers. The tiger cub flopped onto its back at his feet, exposing its soft belly and batting playfully at his pant leg with tiny claws. Just like a young house cat. The live stream viewers lost it completely. Yuan's such an accidental troublemaker. The mother tiger was focused on Mother Bear a second ago, and now all she sees is Su Chi. We're doomed. The mother tiger must think Su Chi kidnapped her baby. What can we do? If the tiger sets out to attack Su Chi, even Mother Bear can't shield him fully. Contrary to what the audience feared, the mother tiger's gaze softened as she watched her cub play happily. Where's that sneaky fox that stole my baby? All I see is this two-legged human. At least my cub is safe and unhurt. It's good for the little one to have a playmate. They seem to trust this strange human deeply. After hearing the mother tiger's inner thoughts, Su Chi let out a quiet breath of relief. He lifted the tiger cub by the scruff of its neck and took a few steps forward. Mother Bear stepped in front of him, blocking his path. Eneen, tigers are dangerous. You're too skinny. One swat from her, and you'll collapse. Don't worry, Mother Bear. She won't attack me. Su Chi stroked her head, then spoke. To the mother tiger. I'll give your cub back to you now. Nod your head if you understand, and won't lash out. The mother tiger thought for a moment, then shook her huge head up and down. Su Chi exhaled in relief. As long as they could communicate calmly, there was a way to resolve this. The livestream audience stared in shock. What's Su Chi doing? Everyone else would run from a tiger, and he's walking closer? I have a bad feeling. Once she confirms her cub's safe, she'll pounce on Su Chi instantly. But the tiger really nodded just now. Does she actually understand what Su Chi said? Su Chi advanced slowly, stopping 1 meter away from the tiger. Mother tiger, here's your baby. Take it back, don't be angry. His heart hammered wildly despite his calm words. At this close range, one swipe of the tiger's paw could kill him instantly, and Mother Bear wouldn't have time to intervene. Luckily, the mother tiger's attention was fully drawn to her cub. She gently clamped the cub's neck in her jaws, set it on the ground, and lapped its fur with her wet tongue. The heavy tension in the air faded away entirely. Mro! Suddenly, a much louder rumbling tiger cry echoed out. Su Chi froze and glanced at the cub. It hadn't opened its mouth at all, and the sound was far deeper than the cub's squeaks. That roar had come from the mother tiger herself. The mother tiger fell silent mid-call, equally confused by the noise she'd just made. Sensing the confused look on the two-legged human's face, Mother Tiger was overcome with embarrassment. She put on a fierce expression and huffed sharply at Su Chi. Roar meow. Her fierce display lasted less than half a second before another familiar kitten, like Mule, escaped her. Su Chi's eyes lit up. Wow, Mother Tiger, your cry sounds so soft and cute, just like a house cat. No wonder the tiger cubs keep mewing all the time. I thought it was just because they're young, but they learned it from you, didn't they? Mother Tiger burned with shame and anger. She licked her paw, glaring at Su Chi with clear disdain. It's none of your business. I can make whatever sounds I want. All prey that have heard my roar are long dead. I never thought a two-legged human would catch me making this noise today. Should I kill this two-legged human? But the cub gets along well with him. And there's also that bulky black and white bear standing nearby. Cold sweat beaded on Su Chi's forehead upon hearing Mother Tiger considering killing him again. It was true what people said about staying close to a tiger. They were undeniably dangerous. All he'd done was hear her odd cry. Was it really worth taking his life over? Across the live stream, viewers sat stunned. Wow, Mother Tiger really didn't attack Su Chi. That's unbelievable. Did that meow really come from the tiger? Ha ha ha, what a total contrast. Beneath that powerful, imposing exterior lies such an adorable side. It sounds exactly like my pet cat. So cute. And she got all flustered after Su Chi heard her. I can't stop laughing. Up close, warm breath from Mother Tiger's nostrils washed over Su Chi's face. He got a clear, unobstructed view of this wild Siberian tiger. Her alternating golden and black fur shimmered faintly in the sunlight. The bold stripes across her forehead lent her an air of unmatched power and dignity. Muscles brimming with terrifying strength bulged gently across her frame like small mounds. Even in his past life as a zookeeper, he'd never gotten this close to a wild tiger. Yet Su Chi spotted something unusual. The right side of her muzzle was swollen, puffing up half her face. How humiliating, having a two-legged human hear my cry today. Fine, the cub likes him, so I won't kill him. Ugh, what's wrong with my mouth? It's ached for days with no relief. It's so frustrating, I can only chew food on the other side. Su Chi held back laughter as he listened to her haughty inner thoughts. Her last line confirmed his suspicion. Mother Tiger, I noticed swelling inside your mouth earlier. Does it hurt badly? Mother Tiger's whole body jolted at his words. Meow. How does this two-legged human know about my sore mouth? Su Chi smiled and continued. You avoid biting down with the right side of your jaw when eating, right? Every time you chew on that side, it stings terribly. After Su Chi finished speaking, Mother Tiger's jaw dropped open in complete shock. How does he know that? Has he been watching me eat? First a fox stole my cubs. Now this human knows everything about me. This is far too strange. Maybe I should bite him to death after all. Su Chi's face darkened when he heard her plotting to kill him once more. Was he destined to die at her paws today? Still, Mother Tiger's wide-open mouth let Su Chi examine the inside of her jaw far more easily. Sharp fangs crisscrossed like forged blades, and deep within her gums, a large inflamed patch was clearly visible. Mother Tiger, your mouth is badly inflamed. Su Chi frowned. The gum around your right canine tooth is terribly swollen, spreading across a wide area. Mother Tiger quickly snapped her jaw shut embarrassed to have her mouth examined at such close range. Yet everything the two-legged human said matched exactly what she felt. She hesitated inwardly. As the undisputed ruler of the forest, she found it hard to accept help from a frail little human. But the constant throbbing pain deep in her jaw grew unbearable. Meow, I acknowledge your observation. How do you plan to fix this? Su-Chi thought for a moment. Back in his past life, he'd often treated minor wounds on zoo animals. Inflamed gums were nothing too severe, and he quickly came up with a solution. Mother Tiger, your gum is infected and filled with pus. I need to cut open the swelling to drain all the fluid out. Afterwards, you can eat some Houtuinia herb to reduce inflammation, and you'll be able to eat normally again. Meow. That's all it takes. The second she finished speaking, she saw Su-Chi gripping a gleaming large machete. Mother Tiger stumbled backward a step. Meow. Are you planning to slash me with that blade? Sneaky two-legged human. He clearly has malicious intentions. Ignoring her panic, Su-Chi lit a fire and held the machete over the flames to sterilize it thoroughly. Lie flat on the ground and open your mouth wide. Mother Tiger stepped back further, shaking her head frantically. Meow. No way. Think carefully. Su-Chi wore a serious expression. If we don't treat this early, your entire jaw will fester and swell shut, and you'll never be able to eat again. Mother Tiger thought about how even drinking water sent sharp pains through her jaw, and the thought of losing the ability to eat broke her resolve. She lowered herself to the ground, hung her head, and squeezed her eyes shut, fully resigned. Su-Chi tapped the top of her head. Open your mouth wide. How can I treat the swelling otherwise? Mother Tiger obediently parted her jaws. Meow, be gentle with me. If you hurt me, I'll bite you dead. Su-Chi chuckled. Don't worry, this will be quick. He took a deep breath and knelt half beside Mother Tiger's head. He reached out and gently pried her upper and lower jaws apart. Up close, he realized the condition inside her mouth was far worse than he'd imagined. The abscess had worsened drastically, spreading deep into the back of her throat. That meant he would have to reach far inside her jaw to drain every last drop of pus. Su-Chi frowned, hesitated for a few seconds, then lowered his head. His face hovered directly beneath her sharp fangs. If Mother Tiger clamped down from the pain, her long canines would pierce straight through his skull. He could feel warm breath rushing from her mouth onto his face. Every single tooth, as thick as his thumb, hung over his head like the sword of Damocles. Mother Tiger, stay calm. This will sting a little, so don't clamp your jaws shut, or I won't survive this. Roar. Rest easy, two-legged human. A little pain means nothing to me, the forest ruler. Seeing Su-Chi place his life entirely in her care, Mother Tiger trusted him completely. Inside the official broadcast studio, Bing Bing covered her mouth nervously. Good heavens. What is Su-Chi doing? He's put his head right inside the tiger's mouth. Professor Lee pushed his glasses up the bridge of his nose. Su-Chi is trying to fully drain all the pus from the abscess in her jaw. This is the only way Mother Tiger can recover, but it's incredibly dangerous. If the tiger reflexively shuts her jaws from the pain, he will lose his life instantly. Watching the live feed, the audience held their breath. Wow, Su-Chi is fearless. How dare he stick his head inside a tiger's mouth? This is what pulling teeth from a tiger's jaws truly means. I have to admire Su-Chi's courage. No one else would dare do this. My legs turn weak just looking at the tiger. Yet Su-Chi is this bold, total respect. Mother Tiger, hold still. Don't close your mouth, or Su-Chi is done for. Su-Chi gripped the machete's handle and carefully slipped the sharp blade deep into Mother Tiger's mouth. Inside her jaw, Mother Tiger's tongue twitched involuntarily, and her throat muscles spasmed faintly from the pain. Su-Chi handled the machete as if it were a precise, surgical scalpel, positioning the blade perfectly over the swollen abscess. Then, he made a shallow cut right across the bulging center. Squelch! The abscess burst open at once, dark blood and thick pus gushing out in a rush. A heavy, rotten stench mixed with the metallic tang of blood filled the space inside her mouth. Mother Tiger's body shuddered from the sharp pain, yet she held back the urge to bite down. Her claws raked deep gouges into the dirt beneath her paws, but her jaws remained rigidly still, as if carved stone. She only gasped for air once Su-Chi pulled his head away. We're not finished yet, Mother Tiger. Su-Chi rinsed his hands clean, reached back into her mouth, and pressed firmly around the wound to squeeze out remaining pus. He then washed the cut with boiled stream water, crushed Houtuinia herb, and packed it gently against the inflamed tissue. Mother Tiger kept her mouth wide open without moving an inch until Su-Chi finished fully. She slowly closed her jaws, and to her pleasant surprise, the throbbing pain was gone. Even simple opening and closing had pulled at the sore wound relentlessly before. But now only a faint, bearable twinge lingered no matter how hard she moved her jaw. Suchi wiped his palms clean and smiled. All done, Mother Tiger. The treatment was a success. The wound isn't large, and all the pus has been drained. It should heal within a few days. Meow. Mother Tiger circled Suchi once, overjoyed. She then stepped forward, pressed her head to his cheek, and dragged her tongue from his chin all the way to the top of his head, licking him thoroughly. Ow, that stings. Stop licking me, Mother Tiger. Suchi winced as the rough barbs on her tongue left his cheeks burning bright red. Mother Tiger lowered her fluffy head and rubbed it against Suchi's hand. Meow. This two-legged human likes patting the black and white bear's head, so I'll let him pet mine as repayment for helping me. Suchi stared at the round tiger head and laughed. He rested his palm gently on top of her skull. A wonderfully soft sensation washed over him at once, like sinking into a cloud, warm, downy fur smooth and plush beneath his fingers. Seeing Mother Tiger show no resistance to his touch, Suchi grew bolder. He rested both hands on her massive furry head and stroked it freely. Mother Tiger tilted her head upward in bliss, eyes half closed, letting out soft rumbling whimpers every now and then, looking just like a house cat enjoying its owner's pets. Viewers watching the live stream were utterly flabbergasted. Wow, I stepped away for the bathroom, and now Suchi's petting a tiger? This tiger's acting weird. Tigers don't normally lower their heads to let humans stroke them. She looks like she's actually enjoying it too. All he did was fix your sore jaw. Where's your forest ruler pride? I'm so jealous. First he got to pet the national treasure panda, now a wild tiger. Let me have a turn with the tiger instead. Suchi stroked her for a while until her fur was ruffled and messy, then pulled his hands away contentedly. Amazing. Petting your head feels incredible. The panda's fur is a little coarse on top, but her belly is softer to touch. Bing Bing looked on with envy. Suchi, you're even judging how soft their fur is. These are wild giant pandas and wild Siberian tigers, not domestic house cats. After being petted, Mother Tiger regained her proud, domineering aura as the forest's ruler. She turned and strode toward the forest without glancing back. The tiger cub stared blankly at its mother's retreating figure. Meow. Mom, aren't you taking me with you? Hey, you forgot your cub. Suchi called out in alarm. Mother Tiger, you're leaving your baby behind. Mother Tiger twisted her head and flicked her tail. Meow, I'm leaving him with you. I'll bring you fresh game later. With that, she sprinted off and vanished into the woods. Her inner thoughts drifted into Suchi's mind. The cub isn't in any danger here. Leaving him with this free human caretaker is perfect, plus that black and white bear acts as a bodyguard. Raising cubs every single day drives me crazy. I'm finally free. What a relief. Suchi could even detect genuine relief and joy in that last thought. He glanced down at the tiger cub clinging tightly to the hem of his trousers, and his mouth twitched. Are you kidding me? She's using me as a free babysitter. He glanced over at the giant panda sitting in the corner munching bamboo, acting as if the cubs were none of her concern. Suchi felt mentally drained. He'd entered this wilderness survival game to fight for his nation, not work as a free caretaker for wild animals. The live stream audience roared with laughter. Why did Mother Tiger run off alone? Didn't she come to retrieve her cub? Wait a minute. Could it be she thinks Suchi takes better care of the cub, so she's dumping childcare on him for free? What an odd line of thinking. Forget Mother Tiger. I wouldn't want to look after kids either. They fuss dozens of times a day and ruin your sleep. As a mother of 5, I completely understand how Mother Tiger feels right now. He already has the panda cub to look after, and now a tiger cub too. Suchi's camp is basically a wildlife daycare. Everyone else out here is struggling to survive in the wilderness, while Suchi's a full-time animal caretaker. The next morning, dawn broke early. Suchi rose with the first light. Cool morning breezes swept away all traces of drowsiness. He stepped out of his bamboo hut and stretched wide, feeling thoroughly energized. This was his first night sleeping in the bamboo hut. Compared to squeezing into the cave alongside the giant panda, the rest had been incredibly comfortable. He'd left the tiger cub and the panda cub in the cave to sleep with the giant panda overnight. As soon as Suchi stepped outside, the 2 young cubs trotted over at once, each wrapping their paws around one of his trouser legs, begging him to play. All right. We'll play later. I have important tasks to finish first. No matter what Suchi said, the 2 cubs refused to let go, clinging to his legs stubbornly. Helpless, Suchi dragged them both along as he walked slowly toward the chicken coop. Peering inside, he spotted a single pale, oval chicken egg resting quietly atop a bed of straw. Yip yip. Egg. Tasty food. Meow. Tiger cub wants some too. Before Suchi could even get a taste for himself, the 2 cubs whined eagerly. Staring at their wide, pleading eyes, Su Chi sighed. Fine, you two can share this egg. You're both growing fast and need extra nutrition. Su Chi found a flat stone, cracked the egg open, and let the yolk and egg white spill out onto its surface. The panda cub's eyes lit up instantly. With a small yip, it charged forward, dragging its tiny pink tongue across the stone to lap up the egg fluid quickly. The tiger cub reacted a split second too late, wandering over several seconds afterward. The panda cub had already licked the stone clean, leaving only a thin film of egg white stuck to the rock. Meow. Let me lick some too. The tiger cub knelt beside the stone and copied the panda cub's movements, licking fruitlessly. Su Chi smiled at the sight of the two cubs fighting over the single egg. No surprise there. This panda cub's a total pro when it comes to eating. After licking for a long time without tasting anything, the tiger cub lifted its head, gazing up at Su Chi with dejected, watery eyes, its fluffy ears twitching softly. Meow. Two-legged human, the bear bullied me. Viewers watching the stream laughed loudly. Ha ha ha. First thing in the morning, and we get to watch two cute baby animals fight over an egg. Panda cub, even my own mom can't beat me to food. What makes you think you stand a chance? Ha ha ha. A love of good food starts young. This panda cub definitely inherited that trait from its food-loving mother. Amused, Su Chi lifted the tiger cub and set it lightly on his left shoulder. You need to be quicker next time. If you lag behind, even a little, the panda cub will finish all the food before you get a bite. The tiger cub nodded seriously, as if it fully understood. Speaking of which, I haven't named you yet. Su Chi paused for a moment to think, then brightened. I've got it. Let's call you Little Tiger. How do you like that name, Little Tiger? Meow. Little Tiger? Is that meant for me? Yep. That's your name from now on. Su Chi ruffled the cub's furry head. Bing Bing looked utterly confused. Su Chi. That's such a random name. Professor Lee stifled laughter as well. It's simple and straightforward, easy to remember, so it works fine. Besides, Little Tiger doesn't seem to mind at all. Little Tiger truly didn't care. It had no idea what a name even was. Seeing Little Tiger perched on Su Chi's shoulder, the panda cub whined and begged to climb up too. Now Su Chi carried a fluffy tiger cub resembling a 1-month-old golden British shorthair kitten on his left shoulder, and a round black and white panda cub like a tiny fuzzy ball on his right. Let's go, Mother Panda. Time to patrol the mountain. Yep, coming. Mother Panda stood up, lumbering forward clumsily on all four paws, a half-eaten stalk of bamboo clamped between her jaws. With the giant panda clearing the path ahead, Su Chi's patrol through the forest was far safer. He crossed over tangled shrubbery and stepped into the woods, his feet sinking into soft, humus soil. Morning sunlight filtered through the treetops, gilding the whole forest in shimmering gold. Birdsong and insect chirps filled the air, and a cool, gentle wind swept past, lifting Su Chi's spirits completely. Following his familiar trail, he reached the mountain stream. Su Chi set the two cubs down from his shoulders, bent low, and knelt by the water to drink. The clear, sweet stream water tasted wonderful, and he drank his fill in one go. The next instant, a system notification chimed out loud. Congratulations to Dragon Country contestant Su Chi. Your cumulative stream water intake has met the return threshold. 10,000-fold resource return activated. 10,000 sources of fresh water, including underground rivers, groundwater springs, and mountain streams, have been deployed across Dragon Country's territory. In an instant, thousands upon thousands of dry water taps all over Dragon Country began to gurgle with running water. Crowds gathered in town squares, laughing as they filled containers to drink. Rivers that had sat parched for years refilled with clear flowing water. Celebration erupted nationwide. This is wonderful. We finally have clean drinking water. Thank you, Mother Panda, for leading Su Chi to this stream. We all get to benefit too. Su Chi is amazing. Mother Panda is amazing. By the stream, the giant panda and her cub drank side by side. Meow. What is the two-legged human doing? Little Tiger tilted its small head in confusion. It had been well protected by Mother Tiger since birth and knew almost nothing about the world yet. Yip yip. The bear is drinking water. The panda cub had visited this stream several times with Mother Panda and knew the place well. It waddled to the water's edge, bending forward and stretching its neck as far as it could. Unfortunately, its body was too short to reach the surface. Meow. You're so clumsy, bear cub. Stung by Little Tiger's judgment, the panda cub pushed its body forward with all its strength and finally touched the water. Yep. Before the panda cub could celebrate, it lost its balance and tumbled straight into the stream with a splash. Splash. Su Chi spun around just in time to see water spray up where the cub had vanished from the bank. Panda cub, Su Chi stretched his arm out in a desperate attempt to grab it, but the current was far too swift and swept the cub away. His hand closed on nothing but empty air. Yip. Where's my baby? Mother Panda stared blankly, waving her paws uselessly in the air. Yip. Where did my huge cub disappear to? The panda cub fell in the stream. We have to save it quickly. Su Chi panicked and sprinted downstream along the water's edge, Little Tiger trotting along behind him. Suddenly, Su Chi spotted a tangle of sharp branches stretching horizontally across the stream bend ahead. The current was carrying the panda cub straight toward them. If the tiny cub crashed into the jagged wood, its small body would be pierced through instantly. Su Chi panicked, but Mother Panda was far more frantic. She shot forward in a blur of black and white fur, racing to intercept the cub. Yet when she reached the spot, the panda cub's figure was nowhere to be seen. Yip. My baby? Mother Panda scratched her head, sniffing the air to track her cub's scent. Su Chi was equally confused. Had the cub been swept further downstream out of sight? Yip yip. Thief. The egg-stealing thief. A familiar inner voice drifted over from nearby. Su Chi's eyes lit up. It was the panda cub's thoughts.